couple of bars while we'll let Sean go over to the, well, I don't know if you're swimming or the gym.
Yeah, I'm gonna same place.
Okay, same place. Either way, get your workout in there. I know someone who makes sure they get theirs in every single day. Both of them, the Bash brothers, they're locked and loaded and ready to go. Sharif and Joey Options.
All right, good.
Go get them, boys.
Ooh, that was big. Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options, and I am Sharif. And until about 2 seconds ago, I was long your boy SRM. All right, here we go. We've got one that's actually going quite aggressively here. 670 high, Joseph. It kind of looks like we almost have a triple top in the making, but upon further examination, you kind of see this higher low situation, and that just has me a little bullish right now. So we'll be looking at trading a whole bunch of these small cap gappers. Good morning, my man. I like the shades. Look at this guy. Okay. The new watch, the new shades. Okay.
I don't know. I think I have bigger concerns right now. Did we start the midday without going through what's for lunch, or did I just?
I think the Katina man was just up too much money on AMD.
Right, so
he did it.
What do we got? Ball and ace.
Yeah.
All right, fire it up.
He's got ball and ace, my man.
I'm that. It's not what's it.
Your food is still in the fridge, by the way, woman. It says Ramin on there.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm just mentioning, by the way.
All right.
Because it may or may not be there at the end of the day.
May or may not be there by the end of the day. No, good. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope everyone had a solid weekend. Beautiful weather here in Toronto. I spent the majority of it outside, and I had a fantastic time doing so. Yeah, let's break down what we've been looking at here. I had a lot of conviction within Bitcoin. Unfortunately, it didn't go my way. It is what it is, guys, but we got somewhat of a move. And then I knew Neil was getting in again right here at VWAP. What a beautiful hold there on VWAP in Bitcoin. And then he just takes that. Hopefully he caught the majority of this trend. But this was just a little move that we caught. And I got really aggressive right here. So I got that stop out. So yeah, it is a slight red. Nothing that we can't climb back from throughout the session. So yeah, we're going to be patient, wait for another opportunity. NVDA is right back to 144.98, and I wanted to talk about the growing size of open interest at 145, and that's now at 117,000 open contracts. So that's quite a bit there, guys. 145 in the works here on NVDA. Let's see how this underlying reacts around this specific level. We rejected it already once throughout the intraday session, and now we're heading right back into that area. So be patient. Let's see if that volume continues to step up like it is. You can see that gradual stair step in the volume as we increase in price. But 145, I most definitely have my eyes on this one. Are we going to sit on top of this level, or are we going to reject it once again? The market has been trading significantly higher throughout the day, and I'm assuming from what we're trading at right now, we're not too far off of those all-time highs, probably about at 1 to 1.5%. So there it is, guys. 145, 117,000 current open contracts. That's looking like some earnings report numbers to me, Sharif.
All right, man. I want to let everybody know that we have a new way to vote, guys. It's not the typical way where we put up polls in the chat. It's completely passive on your side. If you guys throw in a ticker with the $ preceding the ticker, it will automatically register. So we got a bit of a game. Shout out to the Chilean Nightmare. He made this. Fabian, obviously, you guys may know him. So I hit start poll, all right? And then as you guys generate different tickers, as you guys enter different tickers into the chat, this one will pick it up automatically. The only caveat is you got to enter it with the $ preceding it. Case in point, it's $ TSLA, no spaces. And we can kind of run this for 3 hours, right? We'll run it 1 hour between now and 12, and then we'll run it again between 12 and 1, and then we'll take the top few from the bunch, and then we'll throw those on at the end there. So no voting, no listening to what the tickers that we choose and put them up on there for you. It's basically what you guys want. You can kind of already see it. Yeah, it's populating with all the tickers that you guys are already entering in the chat, and we have Fabian on the 1s and 2s right now to give us more information.
Yeah, so basically, you guys can just vote all throughout the show. As long as Sharif doesn't refresh the page, we'll keep all of the ones that are happening right now. So as you can see on the screen right now, people can vote. So you guys can type in 1s or 2s to vote on that stock right now, but we don't have to right now. You can click return. Sharif?
Hit
You can click
return? Sure.
Yeah, click return.
Okay.
So now, as people are going to vote, like there's a ton of them coming in right now. You can click start vote, poll.
Start the poll. There we go.
And there you go. And now you can see those are the most frequent that are popping up right now.
I like it.
And if you would like to make one pick right now, we could show them. Like, click start voting.
Start voting. All right, guys. So it's Palantir or Tesla. Take your pick. We'll get to other names later as well. I know AMD's running to the tune of 9 3/4. We'll get to that.
So now
but for the moment, it's been Tesla and Palantir, and that's the face-off we've got
right now. That's happening. So the audience can vote basically what side they want to win.
All right, there you go.
Pick your stock.
Let me cover this.
Go
here,
ahead, yeah.
Quick, Sharif. Yeah, so NVDA broke out aggressively here, guys. A big-time breakout, massive volume. What are the chances that that volume steps in right at that strike price we were just referring to? So now we're going to probably hear some breaking news regarding NVDA. 117,000 open contracts at 145. You see that massive blow through that specific level. The volume stepped in. Darius, tell us what we got going on.
Has something to do with NVIDIA. Keep an eye here on the market in general. We have a couple comments coming here with regards, I guess, more generally to the state of things, for lack of a better term. Reuters reporting that Trump has not yet approved the critical mineral supply drafts. Keep an eye on some of these critical minerals figures. But also the market on watch, we do have apparently the European Commission releasing a statement saying that reports suggesting that the EU is accepting a U.S. tariff of 10% are, quote, speculative and do not reflect the current state of discussion. So EU trying to shut down some of these claims that they're ready to enter into a tariff deal with the U.S. that would result in a 10% U.S. tariff. Also, the stock isn't really moving on this. Boeing has been up all day, but apparently its head of commercial airlines, who is Stephanie Pope, met with the chair of Air India in India to discuss that plane crash. This is just a report as of right now. Keep an eye on BA, struggling a little bit with that $204 area. And also, Trump is set to be speaking right now with Mark Carney of Canada, the Prime Minister of Canada. This stream has not yet begun, but believe me, I will be covering it the second that it begins. Back to you.
Very much for that, Adair. Let's just remind everybody, Paris Air Show
is
live and kicking right now.
Oh, okay, just in case.
The Paris Air Show right now is alive and kicking, so we could get new deals, stuff like that. So Boeing, in play, that reminder.
Bang, there we go. Yeah, guys, NVDA chart, thank you, perfect. Fantastic job right there, guys. Big time breakout. You've seen that volume step in right at 145. No coincidence there, guys. What a big time move we're seeing here in NVDA. Now up about 2.6% on the day and looking to continue this climb higher. This is a massive move, and if you want to talk about genuine breakouts through specific call walls, that we just seen that displayed. That is A++ Canada credit rating there, Sharif. And then this is what we want to see, that continuation, that follow through, and then you want it to hold. So I think this might be the move where we're starting to head towards NVDA's all-time high. I mentioned that the market isn't too far off of it either.
Were you mentioning the Canadian credit rating because it happens to be better than the American one now? Oh, Joseph, you're not going to endear yourself to our audience already. You already have.
And it's all right. Hey, you can't be at the top all the time. You know what I mean? You got to share it.
Guys, I can't load the chat for whatever reason. My browser's acting a fool, so I apologize. I can't engage with anybody in the chat. As the show goes on, I'll probably just start using a different browser, Microsoft Edge. Shout out to your boy Joseph over there, who's constantly using it and not having an issue at the moment. So I am. All right, guys, let's bring in the small cap gapper charts and have a look at what I'm taking a gander at this morning. The best one right now, in my humble estimation, is going to go between MFI and SRM. We had a big week on MFI last week. That happened to be my biggest trade of the week, MFI, and it has more strength again today, Adair, to the tune of 25%. She says, get it, MFI, with a 449 high. It seems to be at, for the most part, respecting the 10 exponential. It did dip here super aggressively into the volume weighted average price at 387. You good?
Yeah, the NVIDIA is just going. NVIDIA is just going crazy. Put in another leg higher. Now we're knocking on the door of 146. Let's see what we have at 146 here, guys. Just from an open interest standpoint. So yeah, it's nothing substantial. 50,300 contracts right there. But those 145s, whoever's been writing those is now currently offside. This is a big time move. You can see the volume displayed. This is an outlying signature right there, guys. So a massive move. And then we also got the likes of Amazon continuing to climb higher. So a couple of the big names really rocking and rolling here, guys. Amazon now tapping into 215, halves there, and then NVDA about to touch 146 there, Sharif. So it's an absolute monster move. Let's see what Adair's got for us.
No news on NVIDIA. This basically, I just wanted to put in, this is increasingly seeming like it's just a technical break. We know that 145 levels on watch. We break through 145, and then we continue to push higher with volume. If you check social media, it's giving you the exact same picture. Tons of mentions of NVIDIA in the last minute, and they're all saying, oh, all the signs were there, breakout, et cetera, et cetera. There's no news. It really just seems to be a lot of excitement with this technical breakout and a lot of parties and players getting involved to push it even higher. Back to you.
Wow, that is nice. Yeah,
really
you feel that's a sympathy play. If there's no news, it has to be a sympathy play with AMD.
I was thinking that, but like it's so laggard. I feel like just look how AMD was running throughout the whole session, and then around like just before we started, it decided to really get moving here on NVDA. But it must be, if there's no specific catalyst that we know of yet, I guess.
Yes, absolutely, that we know of yet. Well said, Joseph. All right, guys, I'm sorry they're Beantown Patriot. I was talking about SRM, but this is a very fluid game, baby. We got Adair at the big desk giving us news. You got Joey Options degenning into NVIDIA. Like, there's stuff to talk about over here. No, I'm playing, of course.
I'm not even in.
I don't even know. I'm just talking crap, bro. It's Monday. Everything's gravy. Let's go over the small cap gappers list. So I'm really liking the look of SRM's jib right now. It does have local support here at the 10 exponential. I'm talking about ever since it reclaimed it at 10:40 a.m. It does seem to have, though, this propensity to make highs and then retrace aggressively off those intraday highs. Case in point, that 8:30 a.m. spike, pop into 580 or 575 and change, boom, drop down to 3 2/3. Yet again, over here at 9:30, right at the implied balance open, 671 high, all the way down to 434. So, case in point is, don't use VWAP here as a level of support and resistance, at least not yet, until it shows you its propensity to respect it, because right now that white line on your chart looks more like a line of best fit than rather than a support and resistance area. So SRM certainly in focus. Already had a trade on it. We're positive on it. We took I don't know, I think 40 pennies at the top there, in at 6, took to 645, and then got the hell out of there as it dropped again. But it's not out of play yet. I mean, again, still holding the 10 exponential. Zigging and zagging was 6. So certainly my eye on that one. So that's our SRM. MFI, as I mentioned, this one was my best trade last week. This one, again, another one of those ones, it seems to be kind of a habitual thing with these small cap gappers. They make highs, then they retrace aggressively. This one to the tune of almost 60 pennies, 449 high. Then all hell broke loose to the downside, 387 low, all encompassed within 1 5-minute candle. That's the kind of volatility you're getting. But it got its footing under itself immediately after that bottoming tail. Higher lows and higher highs now, uninterrupted for 4 candles in a row on the 5, as we are like, I think 10 pennies, maybe less, off that high. The day, it's up 30%, just a little bit less on the day, is MFI. So that one in focus. I had Z or Z, sorry, American people, ZDGE over here. It's losing VWAP, so it's becoming less interesting to me by the moment. RCAT. Shout out to Ramin Cat over here, as this one drops right back down into the volume weighted average price. That's great. Okay, now it's an upside down V retracement, or a Christmas tree retracement as we call it lovingly here on the floor. That's all good and nice. It's at that key area of technical support. Now I need to start seeing higher highs and higher lows, okay? I'm not gonna punch in willy-nilly just because it got to a random line on my chart. I need to see a trend change. So RCAT in focus. RGC is a monster mover on the day, big triple-digit winner, multiple halter. It's of very little interest to me because it's very expensive, very spready, and very halty. Can barely stay open. How many shares does this thing have? 2 million shares. Does this look like something that's traded 2 million shares? And the reason is because it can't seem to stay open, so it can't really, churn through the shareage. CTGL. This is another very cheap name. Had a very bad day on Friday. As you can see, we got into that 2 2/3, and all hell broke loose. By the time all was said and done by 4 o'clock, this thing had lost everything and then some. Ended up actually negative on the day. Today, trying to rebound a little bit, having trouble with that 1 3/4. This one a little bit less interesting to me. SONM as well, very much in focus. It is losing VWAP. It's got a compression pattern that is trading below the volume weighted average price. Very big move up here at around 8:30. Still holding about 86% high on the day. It was sub $1 on Friday, 92 pennies give or take. So there's a lot going on right now, but I really will be focused on MFI, SRM, RCAT, if it can hold up. And then last but not least, one that everybody in small cap gapper world knows, SBET. It's no longer trading at $45-50. It's a little bit cheaper now. Did this thing reverse split? No, it sold off like to no end on Friday morning. So this thing's around $14. You can just take a gander at where it was Thursday. It was up almost to $50 today, having a good day, 41% and change. Used VWAP as an absolute excellent area of support right at that 2 1/4, and up we go above 13 again. But this one is a bamboozler, so do be careful with these small cap gappers, Joseph.
Yeah, nice. Good look there, brother. All right, so yeah, Tesla's now sitting on the backside of this trend. This is good. I had 3 names on my list this morning. That's going to be IBIT, NVDA, and Tesla. And so now we're sitting on the backside of this. Let's see if this can be held. We need the volume to start picking up on the lower time frames here, guys. Otherwise, this might be a false breakout. So I got to keep my eyes on that. Now my risk is starting to be trailed. So if we don't continue this move through that 312 area here, then we might have to just kind of reassess the situation. So you see the defense, we run into the resistance zones, and then boom, it's defense. Yeah, and then you can see those orders continuously being flushed on the bid and below the bid. All right, guys, so keep that in mind. There is some open interest at 330. It is relatively larger than what we are seeing from the rest of the OI throughout these strikes on this week's expiration cycle. So we do need to keep an eye out on this one too. All right, guys, so 340 and 330 and 340 do have the highest levels of OI. Right now, you can see 36,000 open contracts. We're continuously knocking on that door, having a hard time breaking through and holding that level. But NVDA seemed to do it, and I believe that Tesla can get to that level as well. So 340 and 330 right there. You see some high levels. This might be in the works here for this week, 340 on TSLA. So we like that. That's a positive sign. But let's see if this move can be sustained. The volume on the lower time frames was starting to pick up, but we're not seeing that being translated to the higher time frames just yet, all right? So be patient. There is some key support, pre-market support levels that we need to break through. And then after that, if we do have the ability to breach them, then hopefully we can sit on top of the range and start to participate in this breakout. And we're going to look to add into this position most definitely. But you can see the strength on the tape being displayed, but then also look at the size here. Look at the size here, guys. I'm trying to keep it focused for you. Look at this size. Look at the defense size. Boom, 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 boom. Look at the size. 1,000. These are shares. 20. The other one was like 3,400, etc. So you got to keep an eye out on that stuff. And then when we're flushing at the ask, it's not relatively as large. So that's some signs that we need to keep an eye out for. And if we don't break, then we might have to exit this trade slightly earlier because the market's been on a big time run, and Tesla has failed to participate on this rally that we're seeing here today. So again, being as patient, holding as long as I possibly can, but as long as I continuously see these flushes of strength, I think I have a good opportunity to catch this breakout here, Sri.
Well said, Joseph. All right. Involved in a new trade, SOGP. This one just weaseled onto my scanner right now. It is number 2 on my scanner below RGC. That is since the bell rung. So this thing is up 40% since the bell rung on the day, meaning from 4 a.m. onwards. It's only up 32 1/4. Where are we long? I don't like being long 13s, Joseph. I'm gonna flatten the position. No, I'm kidding, of course. I only just don't.
I'm long 13.
You're long 13s, eh?
1305.
I like that. Okay. So I don't feel too bad. I put 5 on. Off that song, dude. Get it, Adara. All right, so we're keeping an eye here on SOGP, taking a few prints out already. Posted at 3rd print there. Boom. Now we're waiting at 22s. It's showing me 22s on the level 2. Alas, it has to cross on the bid as well, showing 20s on the bid. So let's pack our patience. Then I'm waiting at 25. 25s. Let's go ahead and wait at 27s as well. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys. It's the only way the channel is going to grow. And everything we get over here, we throw back into it. Case in point. Studio 8. This thing's costing us our hearing. It's costing us our good ventilation system. No, I'm playing, of course. We're just, exaggerating for effect. But the point is, we throw everything back into the show to make it better. So liking and subscribing certainly helps, and we thank you guys for that. So SOGP, long at 13s. I do have a planned DCA to defend that. What's it called? The volume weighted average price, which is currently about 1 penny separated from that 10 EMA. So I happen to like that level. Let's go ahead and post. We're going to wait at 7s over here. So we're going to go long at 207. That's going to be a planned dip trade. Excuse me. Yeah, I just took out the entire position. I need hotkeys. That's all right. We'll look to get back in. So let's go ahead and set up another position over here at the 207 area that I liked. So keeping an eye on SOGP. Let's flip to MFI. We don't have that on a trading screen quite yet. MFI, this one, 449 high a day. It seems to have, that selling in and around 40. Despite the fact that the high of the day is 49, the selling seems to come in every time at that 40 penny level. So this one could be a parabolic breaker to the high side above that 50 penny area. My move here is going to be try to set up at the 10 exponential. So I'm going to set up a dip trade, Joseph, at 4 1/4, and then come what may. What do you got over there? Tell them.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at Amazon just not stopping. Can't stop, won't stop here at this point. Yeah, exactly. Can't stop, won't stop here at this point, guys. Now trading up to 215, closer to 216. So a big time move that we're seeing displayed here in Amazon, guys. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily perspective here. And how far are we off of these all-time highs? I'm going to guess probably about 10 to 12%. What are we at currently? 11%. All right, so yeah, there we go. Right in the middle of that range there, guys. So a really good look here in Amazon. A big time recovery. You can see that this trend is still fully intact, but I was suspecting that we were going to get a little bit deeper of a pullback here in this market than what we're experiencing, and we can see that in the likes of NVDA. At some point, oh wow, we have to pull back here and trying to pull some healthy, but he said, we're stronger than you think, Joe. We're going to go for that push in the all-time high. I think there's a good opportunity in the 40s to start grabbing some contracts and then possibly move for that all-time high break, because we are only about 5% off of it. So, yeah, that's a really good look there, guys. So Tesla still lagging. NVDA breaking through that 145 call wall. Amazon moving like it's an unstoppable force right now. But yeah, that's a really good look in some of these tech names. With that being said, guys, let's take a look at some of the top performing sectors here. And that's going to be led by tech, up about 1.8% on the session. Financial sitting in second, so we can take a look at XLF later. But we're up 1.5 there in the communication service, up 1.5, sorry. And then utilities up about 0.25%. Healthcare down about 0.2. And then we have energy taking it on the nose there, guys, down about 0.7 per Sharif.
Oh boy, this feels very frustrating. Look at that.
Oh, you got out too early?
I didn't get out too early. I punched out too early. That's very frustrating. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye out on that. I'm also long MFI. We just punched in. Where'd I get in? At the $0.25. It's showing me 40s. This one is spready. Look at that. It's clearing 2 of my orders, but it's not printing either. 3 of my orders now, and it's not printing either. Well, why is that? Because it has to pass on the bid as well. This is the ask on the spread, right? Or sorry, the ask on the level 2, and this is the bid. It's a 15 penny spread right now on MFI. So even if it clears it on the ask, there has to be that buyer willing to pay that much money. There we go. We get all 3 prints. This one's really going here again, guys. MFI, keep your eye on this one. Adira.
Just be aware here. I guess we're getting some comments coming through from a spokesperson of Air India Express saying that, quote, one of our flights returned to Delhi after takeoff due to a suspected technical issue. That's apparently what they're calling the crash right now, which did involve a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. This statement might be ongoing. I'm not entirely sure, just reading comments on X. But if we get any more comments coming from this Air India spokesperson, I will absolutely keep you guys posted. Keep an eye on BA and be careful if you're trading this one right now, guys. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Much appreciated. Yeah, guys, so we're still sitting in this. If it cracks VWAP, then I'll just hop out of it, because now that Tesla hasn't been participating in this rally to the top side, if the market does decide to want to turn around, I think that weakness will start to step in here in Tesla, and I don't want to be any part of that because I'm obviously long here, guys. So just keep that in mind. The Qs have put in a new high a day, being led by the likes of NVDA and Amazon. So a really good look. I can't say that Apple's participating on this rally because it clearly isn't here, guys. So a really tough look here in AAPL. So liquid glass, I heard it was getting Windows Vista comparisons, but I mean, that's a while back, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, keep an eye on what we got going on here, guys. There you go. So you can see the weakness continuously displayed here in Tesla. That 330 call wall is being heavily defended, while Amazon and NVDA are continuously putting in new highs, guys. So you want to stick to the strong names. What's Palantir up to? I know it was trading relatively well this morning, so we can take a look at Palantir here momentarily. As soon as I pull it up, Bitcoin just consolidating. I did grab some more contracts this morning, and we'll build on that thesis here in just a second. And what was I looking for here? NVDA. We just seen that. Okay, so still climbing higher. What's Google up to? Okay, choppy, that'd be tough to sit through, but this is what the one that I was looking for here was Palantir. I'm curious to see if it's continuing to climb. So 144 and change. Let's take a look at the options chain to see if we have any high levels of OI right there. I was watching some videos on Palantir over the weekend. You do 16,000, so nothing substantial, guys. We can see significantly higher prices, maybe up into 150 by the end of the week in Palantir, Sharif.
All right, guys. CGTL is breaking out. This is one that we brought you guys right at the top of the show. This one was in a very consolidative mood when we were looking at it. It had a very bad day Friday. Big move up right at 9:30, 300,000 shares per candle on average here, and then we're continuing about 150,000 shares per candle, just a little bit more than half right now, a little bit less, excuse me, or no, actually more. In general, we have about 200,000, maybe 175,000, give or take, per candle. So good amount of volume after kind of a dry spell here between maybe 10:40 and 11 o'clock. Up into that $1.75 it goes. So certainly keeping an eye out on that one. I'm still involved in MFI. We've got a nice position going here now, showing me 38s. We're long 45s. I also, SOGP, look, I made a mistake. I got out of the entire position super quick by accident. So I punched back in. I had a dip trade right at 20, and we scalped this one out nicely into about a little bit less than 30. So keeping an eye on this one. It's got a topping tail candle right now that I don't really like on the 5-minute chart with a 243 high, and then down it goes into about 215. Now it's got 2 candle sequence of lower high, lower low. Prior to that, it had been basically a higher high, higher low type situation. So the current candle low right now is 211. It's showing me 220s. It's above VWAP. It did wick below VWAP. So here's the deal. I still like how this one's trading. It doesn't have the most amount of volume quite yet, to be honest. Only 1.18 million shares. That's not really that much, but it is holding up with a good pattern, right? So it's a spready ticker in the sense that it's got about 5 penny spread on a $2 name at times. Right now it's 2 pennies, which is definitely not my preference for these ones, no doubt about it. I'd like them to see them, very liquid and with a 1 penny spread at all times. But I'm trying to think about how I want to work my way into this. Do I want to wait for that 5-minute candle that we're currently on to close at half past the hour, or do I like the area here where this one found support? So if I was to punch in at 22s right now, I can get out on the break of 10. I'm just trying to think this one through as we speak. I think I'm going to wait for that 5-minute candle to close, just given the fact that we preceded the current candle with a topping tail, and that I don't like the look of that one's jib. Back to MFI, we continue to be spready on this one as well, much to my chagrin, but we are holding up at key levels using that 10 exponential moving average on the 5 that I happen to like to really trade off a lot with these small cap gappers. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one. I'm going to keep going back here between SOGP and MFI because I'm trying to figure out whether I want to get in to this SOGP trade. So looking quickly here at the atomic clock, we got about 20 seconds left on this current 5-minute candle here. So We're at 15s. Here's the deal, Joseph. We're going to get in here and we're going to give it to 7s. So let's go ahead and just do that right now. Now the spread is opening up. Let's see if we can get 19s. It doesn't give us 19s. Fine. Or now we get 19s. Now where's the candle low? We said 11, so we're going to give this one down into, let's go to 6, and then we're going to go all the way just like that. So exactly as I wanted to do. Where we long? We're long 19s. Let's go ahead and take out some profits and layer the orders for a move up, if it is to move up. Who the hell knows, right? So we're going to keep an eye out on that one and see what comes. CGTL at highs again. Looking to take out that $1.75, so we might have to work our way into there, Joseph. What do you got, my man?
Yeah, good look there, guys. So Tesla is still continuously chopping around here in the by the volume weighted average price, I should say, sorry. So yeah, we're rejecting those key resistance zones, but we're also holding some support levels as well too. So I want to see who's going to give first, what party is going to win this battle. It's either the Bears versus or the Bulls. So I'm looking for the Bulls to win here, guys, and punch through some key resistance zones. But we have to be patient, all right? Especially because I mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, the market has been trading relatively well today, and then Tesla hasn't been participating on that front. But here we go. We need the volume really to start to pick up on the lower time frames as we break through some key levels, and we want to see that start to translate on the higher time frames as well too, because you can see here on these 5-minute intervals, all these signatures, look at the volume start to stair step as we're heading to stair step down towards some key resistance zones, and that's not what we want to see. We want to see it start to pick up like it was displayed here in the likes of NVDA. We'll pull up NVDA one more time just so you guys get a better idea. So here it is. You stair step higher, that volume really starts to kick in, boom, 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 and then you get that massive volume spike as you break through some key levels. So that's really, really important, and I want to see something similar displayed in Tesla through that 330, and then we can hold. That downtrend is still being defended, and you can see it right here. So basic stuff right here, guys. So continuously being defended. We do have the ability to breach it, but once we breach it, we immediately sell right back off, okay? So keep that in mind. We'll sit in this trade until we break the volume weighted average price, and I think that's going to be it for attempts on TSLL. For me, I want to find some strong names that are pulling back and look for the continuation. AMD has been an absolute monster today. Who would have thunk it? I don't think so. I personally had no idea, but here you go. AMD, what are we up here today?
What are we up, Joe?
9%.
Wow.
Over 9% here off of those lows. And I mean, if we want to break this thing down from a daily standpoint, then just take a look at this crack of the downtrend. See, we already have this displayed. It's very similar. Oh, that's NVDA, sorry. AMD. Once that downtrend was snapped, then boom, and essentially hasn't looked back. So similar patterns to what we're seeing, what we've seen in the likes of NVDA there, guys. But a big time move. Even if you were to play the more touches opposed to these kind of pivots, I would look at this more of a whipsaw move because you do have some more touches throughout this trend here. And then once it cracked, it held that side, then boom. I mean, you're at if you were in at 100, you're already up north of 25%. So a really good look there in AMD.
Well said, Joe, man. Well said. All right, we're taking some prints again here on SOGP. Scalped up, I think, all the way up into the mid to high 20s. Break even on the current amount as it zigs and zags at the volume weighted average price. I am kind of concerned about this current candle. It has a lower high than the prior candle. That would be 3 lower highs in a row, with that lower high trend being started by the topping tail that closed in at 1120. Then the 1125 candle has a high of 29, and this current candle has a high of almost 26, 25 and 2/3. So I am a little concerned about this one, but it's still holding trend. And I don't like to put too much stock into one topping tail candle with these small cap gappers. To me, as I've said before, it doesn't mean the same thing as when I see it possibly intraday on Amazon, intraday on Apple. I think it means something fundamentally different when you see it on the big names, where it takes a lot of money and a lot of shares to kind of change the way those ones look. It doesn't take that much money, doesn't take a huge account to kind of manipulate these small cap gappers. So we're going to keep an eye out on that right now. Currently break even on the last remaining amount. I've taken out more than half the position. Let's go ahead and wait a little bit more here on the high side. If we're able to get some more at 24s, let's take out some there. Now, the current one that I'm also involved in, MFI, break even, or looks like to be here on the last remaining amount. Show me 28s, right? 26s, excuse me. I'm long 25s. It's still holding the 10 exponential moving average, so I don't have a reason to get out. The only thing I don't like about MFI right now, it's sub 1 million. I mean, in terms of shares traded on the day, that isn't usually a name that I would be trading, just given the amount of shares that I typically require for these small cap gappers. So I am on the alert here for MFI. Let's take out a little bit more here if we can on my friend Mr. MFI. We're gonna wait up here. Let's see if we can get a mid print at around 26s. It's showing me 33s. Yeah, the spread is just prohibitive on this thing, kind of annoying. So we'll see if we can take out a little bit more there to de-risk if it does trigger my mid-print order there. So MFI in focus here, likewise with SOGP. Those are the ones I'm focusing on, but you guys are yelling about UMAC. We're gonna go to Adair in 1/2 second here. I just wanted to let everybody know UMAC just took out the day high into 985, higher highs, higher lows, looks like an upward channel, and it's a former convict, baby. It's done time. It's done time in small cap gapper world. So shout out to this one. Adair.
This meeting between Prime Minister Carney of Canada and President Trump of the U.S. appears to have begun. They're just kind of standing by a Canadian flag outside of a G7 summit sign. So this stream has started. Keep an eye here in the market in case anything of note is said here. Also, we have CBS reporting that Donald Trump is not intending to sign the G7 statement on what's happening here between Israel and Iran. They just kind of zoomed out here as well, the G7 summit. It's worth noting Scott Bessent, who is the U.S. Treasury Secretary, is here alongside Donald Trump. Back to you.
That's super important. Thank you, Adara, for that. We're having a look right now at Mr. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump with Prime Minister Carney. Again, I'm very pleased with everything that I've seen from Mark Carney so far. I got to tell you the truth. I think this guy was a chameleon. He tricked everybody into thinking that he was gonna, govern from the left. Absolutely not governing from the left whatsoever. It's been economy. Can you guess what the third one is?
Not economy.
Not economy.
Oh,
come on, Joseph.
Economy.
Yeah, he's been absolutely killing it. I'm very pleased with what I've heard from him so far. I really have no complaints. So let's see if Donald seemed to like him as well when they had a little meeting there. So
well, Donald stated that before, that he would get along better with a Liberal Party than he would with the Conservative.
I don't know why he said that.
I don't know why.
But I think he genuinely likes Carney because they seem to riff a little bit there in the Oval Office. And even when Donald said, never say never. Your boy Carney quadrupled down. And he was good with
That's the thing, right? Carney's cool like a cucumber. I mean, you're not going to get under this guy's skin too easily.
No.
And you're not going to see him on social media posting this, posting that, and getting into wars with CEOs. That's just not in Carney's DNA. And I think a nice.
Did you see who he invited too?
Who did he invite?
You didn't see who he invited?
No.
What's going on over there, bro?
He
invited President Modi, Prime Minister Modi, of India, who obviously the prior prime minister did not like. And he invited MBS, and let's just call it spade a spade. Okay, so let's get around this PC crap. MBS is not liked very much in the Western democratic world because they look at him as an authoritarian dictator. And the dude, he's looking past all that. He's like, all right, you got the money? Entra.
You guys,
know what I mean?
You guys need liquid natural gas.
Hey.
Or what? That's what I think. Those are the
he is all business all the time.
That's good.
I love it.
We need that. I think we need.
Go ahead, Adair.
Donald Trump saying here that he thinks that during the G7, they'll be able to, quote, accomplish a lot and mainly focus on trade with Canada. He says that they might be able to get to a deal with Canada within weeks or days, and that he is a tariff person. So just making it very clear here, Donald Trump is still working with tariffs. He said that he believes they're easy and they work. So tariffs could definitely still be on the table here, even with these negotiations apparently happening at G7. Back to you.
Dara, keep us apprised of that. Super important for our country as well, and obviously the G7 is important for everything right now, Joseph. So it's important to know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. All right, so I hopped out of this Tesla as it cracked through the volume-weighted average price, so that'll be it. Just a little paper cut on that one. We can't complain, but you can see that me being a breakout trader, it wasn't going today. It's been moving sideways, and now looks like it wants to break down. So it's unfortunate, but these are all just paper cuts, right? And it's not death by paper cuts or anything along those lines. So that's okay. So these are the two names that we traded here on IBIT. Missed a big move here, but again, we'll find something else. Plenty of risk left. and plenty of time left throughout the day. I'm thinking of maybe finding a continuation here in IBIT if we can get a pullback just a little bit north of the volume weighted average price. So if we hold these levels, you can see that we're on this nice consolidation, but it is sloping down, forming these lower highs again. So that we'll keep an eye out on this. We get a liquidity grab and then maybe a potential bounce, and we can get that continuation on the trend. But what I really wanted to do was just break down why I decided to add more to my swing position here on IBIT and Bitcoin is because this hammer candle that was formed on, I believe it was Friday or Saturday, I'm like, okay, this is a really positive sign, and this is exactly what I want to see. Are they running right now? Okay, so yeah, good luck there. We're going to pull up the quantum here in a minute. But this hammer candle, right? So you can see that higher low, and then you have that hammer candle, and then slightly higher lows as well right there, right there too, guys. So keep that in mind. And now we're starting to climb. So I did add another contract right here, looking for the breach of some of these key resistance zones. But let's hop into some of this quantum space that Sharif's talking about, because I really want to see what they're up to, and I want to be able to find some areas of strength. QUBT. Oh, wow. Okay, now up to 19. So a big-time move. Way to call that out. Yeah, that's a big-time move there.
The chat. Thanks to the chat, man.
Yeah, thanks, chat, for that. And then you can see the volume also supporting this. This is what we want to see. That's a genuine move, continuing to climb higher. What's Rigetti up to? It's starting to participate as well, too. And what did we just do? QBTS?
You did QUBT.
And then QBTS is the next one. D-Wave. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. D-Wave is in a really nice spot. I got to hop in this D-Wave here. Yeah, I really like D-Wave right now. QUBT. Oh, that's not the one. QBTS. That's what we want. Is it nice? Yes, it is. All right, let's be patient. See if we can get it. Oh, it already just did a quantum move without me there, Sharif. Quantum leap. So I'm not going to chase it up here. We'll be patient, wait for that pullback here in QBTS. And
get it,
yeah,
Joe.
Let's see if we can get this ball rolling here today, guys.
All right, guys, here we go. What's it called? SOGP moving back up into that $0.25. We have now a new 5-minute candle to make a new high with a newer high and a higher low. That's the good news. The bad news is MFI is starting to me off, okay? So we might be short-lived in that one. It's been putting in umpteen amount of lower highs. I'm breaking even at currently on it, excuse me, I can speak. 4.25 is where it's going. But before we send you to Adara, I gotta let you know that SRM is breaking loose to the high side. It's going buck wild. It's up 435%. Put some dang respect on this one's name. It's about to take out $8. $7.90 high. SRM. Sorry, 1 second, Adara. I'm just going to give them the information on it. SRM, guys, a float of 10 million shares or thereabout. Light short float here, about 2.25, a little bit less than 2.25%. Adara, give us the goods.
Letting you guys know, this brief little welcome here with Prime Minister Carney and President Trump has ended. It was just supposed to be, I guess, kind of a welcome. As mentioned here, there were some questions, I guess, generally speaking, about trade and what would be discussed at the summit. Nothing super market moving here, but be aware the summit is happening, and I will continue to provide coverage when it's relevant to the market, or specifically if it has to do with trade, so that you guys are apprised of what's happening, because it can and does matter to the market. Back to you.
Super important.
Yeah.
You see what they were doing? They were doing all sorts of, drills and stuff out there, because your boy Donald comes in that giant motorcade that like stretches like some odd kilometers. And they were doing all sorts of practice drills, and because the place I have is right by the airport, right? So everyone, their V2 Ospreys, like just getting texts from like the tenant. It's like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, all right, man, calm down. Donald's coming in town, right? Donald's coming. Yeah. So everything's good there, man. Cool. It's a nice move, man. I like how it feels. I don't know how you feel about this, but it feels like we could get a couple of trade dealers under our belt sooner rather than later.
Yep.
And I don't want to say this market needs any help. We're back at 22,000 or thereabouts, but you feel like we could really take the top off here. We get a couple of good trade deals.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, Sharif. Just to add a little bit more wind to the tail there, if we do get some deals being struck in the week or coming weeks, as Adara brought to us as well too, I think it is going to, as soon as more deals, I think you're going to start to get that avalanche effect as one deal starts being made, then another one and another one. Apparently. And I think it will bring the market into all-time highs. guys, because we are only about 1.5% off of it. So we're not too far. And I mean, like from a headwind standpoint, I think things are starting to cool off a bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Middle East still is a bit of a problem,
it's hot,
always, right?
But I mean, for me, Sharif, I don't want to get too involved into that. But again, unfortunately, it's a thing that's continuously happening. So again, once that starts to cool off and the media decides that they want to start following something else, and if it's something positive, then I think we're going to be sitting in a good position in this market here, guys. And when Donald said those about a month or two ago now, it's a good time to buy stocks. Next time he says that, you got to buy stocks apparently, because the market has been on a 20% run from those Liberation Day lows. So I mean, the guy giving away his hand.
Get him, Donald.
And hopefully a lot of us started to follow and participate on that front. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it.
You guys better buy now.
Yeah, it's a good time. You said it not once, but twice. The man told us to buy stocks. So
Hold on. You know what that is, Joseph?
What's that?
You want to know?
Fake
You
news.
are fake news.
Fake news.
You are fake news.
You are fake
Fake
news.
news.
Fake news. It's very fake. Only I'm not fake.
Yeah, fake news.
Get it, Adara.
Yeah.
No, Adara, you got to hit the button next time you want to do that, Adara.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just.
I think the fact that
That's not what you did.
That's fake news.
That's not how she did it, guys. That's not how she did it.
You can
Thank
do
you for
it.
chiming in, Adara.
Yeah, no, good stuff here, guys. Another great day. See, we're always telling you that we're always having fun here. I'm not going to catch this move on QBTS because I was looking for that breakout to be sustained, but right now it's not looking like it because the selling pressure is starting to pick up a little bit as well too. So what I wanted to see is that now we had that breakout volume and it was lagging its peers in the likes of Rigetti and QUBT. So we were hovering right at the volume weighted average price. And I was looking for that to continue in order for me to punch and then hopefully get that move. But unfortunately, that isn't the case. QBTS, you might want to look at it again for a buy. Yeah, let's pull that up because Oh, no, so you said QBTS. Yeah, I'm still looking at it, but excuse me, what I'm seeing isn't exactly what I want. And top 7. Never mind. He can do what he wants, right? This is what
don't worry
we do
about that
here.
guy.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
just
So,
let him
again,
do it as I want and if I want.
Exactly. So, do what I want. So, anyways, this is what I'm waiting for. QBTS not setting up exactly how I wanted it to. But one thing to note here is that we're starting to climb back towards these highs in Bitcoin. I like this continuation in strength. I actually bought another contract right here earlier this morning. I had an order and then it filled. So there we go. We have a couple contracts. They are out OTMs. They're further dated out December to be exact, and they're 65s. So I'm looking for this big time move here in Bitcoin in the coming days and take advantage of it. And if we get that a couple of days where we're just extremely bullish, then I'm going to look to add more contracts because I feel a type of way, and I think it's time to put on some extreme risk and try to make some big time plays here in the market, Sharif.
All right, we stopped out of MFI, Joseph, as it did break down below the 10 exponential. It broke down below the 20 as well. It looked like it may have found a little bit of support here at $4, right around 402, give or take. Volume weighted average price south of 4. So there is kind of a possible support zone. I want to say that $4 area of psychological support, as well as the volume weighted average price, which is right now on my chart 391. So we'll see which way this cookie crumbles, but it really does seem like the SRM show right now. Where are you at, SRM? There it is. It's really going here, guys. So topping tail currently into 850, south of 8 it goes. I perceive this to have some support at around 7 to 6 2/3. Alas, it's like 5 pennies below $8 right now, so we're gonna wait for that level to come in. But this could be the breakout right now. I mean, what I've seen before from SRM, which keeps me a little cautious at the moment, is not every time, oftentimes, when this one makes area highs, intraday area highs, it seems to be met with aggressive selling subsequent. I'm talking about that initial move up right at 8:30 when this one caught the tailwind with the news. Again over here, right at the open, makes that high a day, takes the pre-market high out and then drops again. Now we're on an aggressive move. We're on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candle uninterrupted green streak right now, and the high of the day is 8.5, and it looks like it's going to get taken out. Maybe. Let's see over here. Here we go. We're at 8.5 again, and there goes 8.5. 860 right now, 870. So the aggression on SRM unabated, baby, as we move into that 500% mark. We're at 485, give or take. So keeping my eye on this one. Yeah, the micro pullback was the move here. Kind of sometimes hard to know whether you're in a micro pullback formation or whether you are selling off. That is part of the nuance here with trading these small cap gappers, being able to identify those. So SRM breaking out. It's the best looking small cap gapper, at least on my watch list and on my chart right now, and as well as my scanner. It is the #1 gapper up on the day, up 475%, give or take. So let's keep an eye out on this one and look for good entry opportunities. I'm still involved in SOGP. It feels, I don't know, man. It's been putting in umpteen amount of higher lows, but there is a seller here at the $0.25, which has kept me unprinted for the last little while. So I'm not sure exactly how to feel about this one at the moment. And the volume, though, is drying off substantially, and that is not what I want. Certainly not what I want here, as usually that is a recipe for a bit of a down move. So keeping my eye fixated here on SOGP. Jameson telling me, though, about VOYG. Let me take a quick gander at VOYG at the top screen. Yeah, I don't know about this one, bro. Voyager Technologies is down 2.8% on the day. I'm not seeing what you're seeing there, brother, but keep me updated. I see it, Tish. I've been yelling about SRM all morning, and it's going to take out 8.5 again. And here it goes. It took out the level again, 879 right now on SRM. This one is squeezing. It's squeezing very aggressively. We looked at this one. It doesn't have a large short float. It has a smaller float, about 10 million shares, give or take, but, we're not talking about anything heavily shorted, at least not from what I can see using my data. So it looks like we're going to take out 886. That is the current area high on SRM. One quick one before we send you back to Joseph. SBET, a name we're all familiar with, and which had a very bad day on Friday. Just look at that down and to the right there in the aftermarket. Aftermarket Thursday, this thing absolutely tanked from like 30 some odd dollars into the high single digits into 8. It's at VWAP now. It's been basically selling off since the area high at 1035, and there hasn't really been a bid. Let's see if VWAP can act as a support level for it, because really not much else can right now, Joseph. It's the SRM show, my man. It is the SRM show. Look at this thing go.
Wow.
And we got nothing on at the moment, man. Big moves right now for SRM.
That was a C pushbacker there you had going.
That was like I don't know what the hell is going on, kind of pushback. Yeah. I just noticed we didn't even turn on the massage, my man.
Yeah.
We're gonna go in there now. I need a
you know
relaxing
what's funny? I was thinking about switching chairs to see if you would notice. Do you think you would notice quick or no?
No, I wouldn't notice the lack of vibration or the bulge in the lumbar or anything
or
like that.
Or me having the heat on.
Oh no, of course not. The truth is, I want an honest answer. Did or did not OB use this on Friday? I want an honest answer.
I can't answer.
Was there vibrating coming from my chair on Friday?
I can't answer that question.
He did, didn't he?
I can't answer.
I'll watch all 3 hours if I have to.
Then that's what you have to do, brother. Then that's what you have to do.
All right, we're going
to Adara. Yeah.
Keep an eye here on OUST. I want to clarify, this is really speculative, but I guess a post on X, which seems to be very much bullish, Ouster, is saying that OUST could potentially end up partnering with Apple. Now, again, I want to clarify, super speculative. This is an account that seemingly only posts about Ouster, so a bit biased as well, but OUST next will push to the upside, though right now getting a bit of a topping tail candle. As to whether or not the massage chair was used, truthfully, I don't remember, and that says a lot. I was not paying attention to the massage chair indicator. We'll have to wait and find out what happens when Sharif watches the stream back. Back to you.
Okay.
Look, she didn't oust Obi there.
Yeah, well, look, Obi's all of our friends.
Yeah.
So I'd rather, personally, if I was switched up, if I was in Dare's position, I'd just pretend like I didn't know.
I don't know.
I'm not saying it one way or the other, right?
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea.
Okay. You started this whole thing then. I see.
The thing is, though, listen, a little off topic before we get right back into these markets, but I have a bone to pick. All right.
What did I do?
Okay, no, not with you.
What did I do?
Okay, so do you like? I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you like the winter?
In what way? Like,
do you like the cold outside? You like it cold outside?
Of course not.
Okay.
Who likes it cold?
So when it's summertime, why are we putting the AC on when we just went through 8 months of winter?
Listen
and
here,
we
Joey
can't
Shivers.
Enjoy the heat. Like, come on,
Joey Shivers.
So we wait for the heat and then we put the AC on inside so we can be cold once again.
Yes. You want to know why?
I can't get.
Because Toronto's 100% humidity.
I can't.
It's either very cold or very humid.
I love it, man.
Right? Like, you love it.
You know how we like
Oh,
that.
wow.
That was my. There we go. Joey's bone.
Oh my
of the
God.
Day. Yeah. So that's.
He used it, and they also had a big discussion on your chair. Hina Altaf, you are amazing, Hina. You just gave it all away.
Yeah.
So now I know Adara was not telling the truth. Now I know you were not telling the truth.
No. I never confirmed nor denied. All right. So there you go.
You said you didn't know, but you did know.
I didn't know. I didn't.
All right, Joseph. All right, Joseph. All right, thank you, Hina. I do appreciate you.
Hina,
I'm writing your name down. You're gonna get all the accolades from now on.
That's
oh
crazy,
my
Hina.
goodness.
I gotta keep my eye out for you. We got a lot of things to do around here.
We're having a good time here, guys. I'm just,
Yeah, just back.
Obi's more than welcome.
Yeah, obviously Obi, he's more than welcome. So yeah, I said, hey man, you can use it, but I don't know. I'm not.
Oh, so now you said you can use it. You're killing me, bro. You're killing me.
It's all good. I mean, Tesla, I think at some point we're going to find a breakout here, right? Because just think about the length of this consolidation. So if you get a curl up, then look for the longs. But then also if we continuously make these lower highs, then look for that move of the break of these key support levels, and then wait for that volume profile to tell you which direction we specifically want to go here. So I think it's patience is going to be the name of the game on Tesla, because it's only a matter of time. It may not be within the next couple of minutes or so. It may take a half an hour or anything along those lines, but just be patient and wait, because I do think we're going to find a direction, and there goes the market to the downside here. Why isn't Tesla participating just yet? Something is up in this name. I'm thinking accumulation before we start to distribute, potentially higher, but that was a big wick down there that we've seen in the market, Sharif.
Yeah, let's take a quick second to talk a little Apple.
Yeah.
So I was doing a little bit of research on the weekend.
Okay.
And it seems as if the consensus amongst like bigger money players right now is really not the lack of Apple intelligence that's really causing the story. We'll continue this discussion in 1 second. We got to go to Adara for breaking news.
Absolutely.
Interrupt the conversation there, Sharif, but I have to mention this. Iranian state media is reporting that Iran is preparing for, quote, the largest and most intense missile attack in history on Israeli soil. So more geopolitical tensions heating up here. Nasdaq dropping lower as a result. Again, seems like more escalations in the Middle East. Back to you.
Oh boy, yeah, you hate to hear that.
Yeah, and
I personally don't like.
I heard, and I was listening to some stuff on the topic as well. I don't want to get too much into this political war stuff because I think we need more positivity. Yeah. I mean, I heard Iran their backs were slightly against the wall. They didn't know what they were doing, slightly underpowered compared to what Israel's got going on.
Of course, bro.
Right?
Yeah. Let's just call a spade, bro.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not anything that nobody doesn't already know. Israel has by far the best military in the Middle East, by far, right? Let's get real. Yeah. No, it's not even, that's the defensive side. Yeah, I'm even talking about the offensive side. And the offensive side with the intelligence side is deadly. Now, however you feel about the use of that, that's up to you. But let's just be objective about the facts. And those are the facts. Now, let's just digress back to the topic that I brought up before Adara brought in. Too. So, interesting look here. It doesn't seem to be that the market sell-off was because of the botched Apple intelligence, much like what you and I have been thinking. Apparently, it's the exposure to China. So we've been hearing about them de-risk into India. But the fact of the matter is, all that stuff that's actually being sent to India, believe it or not, most of that, if not almost all, is being made in China. They can't decouple from China. And to decouple, they're talking about a 5 to 10 year runway. That's what the analysts are assuming. So if you make even concessions for perhaps Apple's super, ability to get things done, let's cut down to 3.5 to 4 year window. That's still a ridiculous amount of time where you're basically taking a hit to your income as if they come in with those tariffs and they hurt you, or however they end up hurting Apple. That's really the main story here. that they can't decouple from China.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And I don't know, from an Apple standpoint, do you think it would be a good idea for them to just kind of, they are looking to move a lot of the supply chain to India, and I think in the coming years they want 50% of iPhone production coming out of India.
But still.
But at some point, is it almost, should they take a gamble and say, hey, maybe we'll wait this 3.5 years out and then see if the new party that comes in next will start to reduce the tariffs coming from China, and then you can just keep all the majority of your production within China.
Okay, so let's pretend like the Dems win. Okay?
Yeah.
The Dems win the next 2028. What did Biden do with China last time, Joseph? He kept the tariffs exactly as they were with relates to China. So the needle here seems to be, whether both sides will openly say or not, they seem to have a consensus about China from the two sides. Perhaps maybe a little bit different about how you want to execute. If I'm a strategist within Apple, I'm not taking that chance. Okay.
Okay. So you're moving production regardless.
I'm not taking that chance that maybe the other party comes in the 28 election. Maybe they don't. And if they don't, and even if they do, are they going to have the same policies like they did last time? So it's not something that I want to take a chance with. And I think that's why the market is making Apple pay the way that it's been paying.
I mean, could that be a positive catalyst too for the campaign, saying, hey, we're going to reduce tariffs coming out of certain countries? Could that sway some more voters to that specific party?
Who knows? Maybe it could, right? Maybe it could. But that's the point, right? If you're the risk manager within the company, are you taking that risk? I don't think they are, and I don't think the market is. The market's not giving them that runway, and that's why we're seeing the aggression with which we've been selling off. So that's just my take there on Apple. I think it's more a China story than an Apple intelligence story, but I think think a combination of both with maybe more
most
China.
Definitely a combination of both, right? One didn't help the other. It was just adding insult to injury, I think.
Certainly,
at that point, right?
certainly.
Yeah.
Adair.
Everyone heard.
Here's the market. The Nasdaq obviously having a nice push here pre-market and into the day. But as of I would say the last hour, probably during the midday, we started to see some of these lower highs, lower lows on the Qs on the 15-minute chart. Still up handsomely on the day, about 1.4% to the upside. S&P 500, I would say this fall is a lot more noticeable. Still up again 1% though on the day as we continue to assess ongoing geopolitical tensions, which seem to be escalating. As mentioned earlier, Iranian state media is reporting that Iran is planning to launch the largest attack ever on Israeli soil. Keep an eye here on AMD. This one had a massive push to the upside. Only catalyst you could really find on this, other than, I guess, hype from last week's Advancing AI event, was a price target increase of only $15 here from $125 to $140 by Piper Sandler. Then you have META. This one seemed poised for a really strong session after we had the company announce that they are going to be, I guess, having a subscription option for WhatsApp and now also showing ads. Nice push here into 707s, but unable to fulfill that strength. Right now, we're actually below VWAP and near that key $700 level. So make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Doing this all day, every day. But for now, we're going to have Neil and his lesson of the day. It's another daily staple. So without further ado, Neil, take it away.
Thank you very much, Adara. If it doesn't fit, then you must quit. Or, better yet, don't even start. And I think it comes down to, on some days where if you're bullish today, and let's be real, there were a lot of places that you were going to win, right? So if you had, a bullish plan of action on a stock, there's a decent chance that you found good entries and something that was going to work for you. For myself, it wasn't everything because I didn't get into Palantir. I had 4 stocks on the note. I didn't get into Palantir. I did get into Micron and IBID. Both of them worked to the long side, whether it was consolidate above a prior high, a dip and rip, whatever floated your boat. Certainly, those all worked out to the long side. However, I did have Tesla on my list, and I kept coming back to it and trying to bang my head on. As I hear the pounding behind me with the Studio 8 renovation, the first thing that comes to my mind was that. I was trying to figure out where to get the long in Tesla. You'll see no executions. Sometimes there just doesn't have to be a trade. I can think Tesla's bullish. It's up 1.6%. It's probably a couple of longs, a bunch of longs that you could have had that could have worked out. You know what? If it's not clean, you just don't have to force the action. And ultimately, I can go back and you can do the old hindsight thing and try to come up with reasons why I could have that double bottom at 327. But the truth of the matter is, my plan of action was either we were going to break out, top side. Actually, I like 336 even more than I liked the Friday high break. Get it with that hammer, bro. That was intense. Or I wanted us pulling back into, like 323 in here. And when neither one of those things happen, you get an inside day, just get away from the chop fest. This is like the algo special. The algos are in control of this one. They know what's up. And so when I'm looking for the next trade, not the obvious longs, I go down my list. You start to play the patience game, and you let things sort of trend, and something's going to present itself. Now, whether it's a home run or a single or a double, you've just got to think about, okay, well, what are the setups that I like? The morning range is down. I'm not going to force something on Tesla. What are the setups you like through lunch? I like VWAP bounce plays on stocks that are strong. Okay, we'll see if we can't get that on Micron. See if we can't get that in IBIT. But the other thing I like is some mean reversion plays back into VWAP. But if I'm going to do it, find something that I think is relatively weak. I mean, I do think Intel is relatively weak. Wait for it to play into a resistance level. Like, don't play it early. Wait for it to try to get back up into a resistance. Let it do like the patented setup. Or I'm not even, I don't have too much to think about here. It's like there's a trend break. And I said this when we were going on the midday. Just wait for something to give me a trend break, consolidation short into the volume weighted average price. Like a clean trade. And if I do trade Tesla, maybe I'll get something like that. Maybe Tesla will hold a trend, a clean trend, and give me something later on in the day. I'm not going to get away from having it up. Could be an upward trend into a top breakout. Maybe it ends up breaking down. But it comes down to being patient and waiting for there to be an actual execution. Having a direction on a stock is only a part of the equation. You know what I mean? Because one thing I can tell you, you're doing this show over and over and over again every single day with you guys, is when you have an idea for a trade, bullish, bearish, whatever entry point, sure, you want your biggest winners to be your best ideas, but what you don't want to happen is like an idea that this was one of my top ideas, it doesn't even do what you said you wanted to have happen, but then it's your biggest loss. Like, okay, you wanted to trade it, and it was at the top of your list, so usually if it sets up, okay, fine, you should have your biggest winner, your biggest loser, because it did what you wanted, it was your best idea. But you can't have a situation where a stock was at the top of your list, did nothing that you were looking for, and you still traded it as if it was the number one, and then you take your biggest hits. All the biggest hits tend to come that way, where you're just locked in on, this is what I wanted to trade, so I'm going to figure out something to make it work. You can't do that. No, ultimately, trade your setups, be specific about your executions. If anything, I look back and for myself, the thing I'm happiest about today is that I have not made a single execution in Tesla. Forget about any winning trade. That to me is the thing I'm the most happy about because I at no point really had a good read on it. And I was trying to come up with one and I couldn't. And when that's the case, you shouldn't trade it. And there's nothing wrong with sitting on your hands. If you trade multiple stocks, maybe you've got other opportunities. But if you're a one stock trader and it's not there, that's fine. And if you're not willing to accept that, well, then you end up with these blowout days. Most of the good traders and consistent traders I've seen over time that are able to be, up 4 days out of 5, up 15 days out of 20, up, almost every single month of the year, those types of traders, and it's not like that's a common thing. It's pretty rare in day trading, very rare in day trading. They almost all had one thing in common. I can tell you this is an absolute mathematical fact because I go through, as a floor manager, I go through the settlements. They have flat days. They have days which are not up much, not down much. Because if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. And that's what keeps you away. Most of the big losing days are the days that you force some action in something that's not there. And you can't have that as a trader. So make sure there's a good setup. I know a lot of people probably were looking at Tesla today. And if you found something that worked, congratulations to you. But there's no shame if you didn't. You can always sit it out and look for a better opportunity. That's your lesson of the day. Good luck, everybody. And let's go futures.
Yeah, Neil, I needed that. I needed that pep talk. I needed that pep talk at approximately 9:57 this morning. So I needed it a couple hours earlier than what we're getting it, but it's all good. Better late than never, brother. I appreciate that one. Yeah, I could have used it at 10 a.m., but it is what it is, guys. Yeah, so sometimes, hey, but that's why we have the strike rule, right? I'm like, regardless of what happens here, you can see that I did get chopped up, but paper cuts, nothing to really cry home about. But again, yeah, I definitely needed that a little bit earlier than what it was presented. But no, thank you as always, Neil. Much appreciated. There you go. The thing is, though, it looks like it's this price compression pattern looks like it wants to break. But one thing to note is that we just need that volume to really step in. A lot of these candles are overlapping, and you can tell by this profile that this isn't breakout-esque, right? Like we need to be patient and wait for it to slowly curl in one direction. I do believe that we are going to break through this resistance zone. May not be today, maybe tomorrow, but this gap was filled to the downside, so nice trade right there. But you can see a wedge is being formed, and I'm just going to be looking to participate in this breakout here.
Yeah, trend is in the way.
I mean, I know we got to figure that. Oh, I forgot to get to our thing there.
We're not gonna get that. Hopefully, you know, it's subsidized.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
We can get on there.
All right, guys. SRM got back involved in this one as Neil was dropping his lesson of the day. 1020 high. Now we have a couple of red candles there littered by. We're littering the or basically involved here with this bigger up move. Alas, we still have higher lows on the red candle. So even those two red candles there on your chart still had higher lows. So keeping my eye on this one, looking for a deeper retracement. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or whether just to take the breakout. We were selling at mid 50s, and here we go again. We're selling again at 53s. There we go. Now we're taking it out. So here comes a possible break above 10 and then a move above the high of the day. Okay, so now we have a higher low again on this current candle, with the low of this current candle being like in the 30s, okay? So not a bad look right now on SRM as it continues to put in higher lows, not necessarily higher highs on every candle, though. That 1020 high is still remaining as the high of the day. Look at it, zig and zag, topping tail right now, right back down into the low of the current candle, but being found or finding support and being bought up quite aggressively again. So these are all micro pullbacks right now, and I won't be convinced any different. Every time we dip in to the lower end of the candle, once we've established an area high, boom, it is a new high day now, 1025 high. That just got printed. Oh, man, mistrade after mistrade, but there's just so much volatility here on SRM. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to manage this right now.
590%.
Yeah, that's what these small cap gappers do, baby. That's kind of their modus operandi there. So SRM in focus, 1025 high, looking at taking that out. Keep an eye out on this one. It's still putting in higher lows, higher highs. This could be one of the first quadruple digit winners we have in actual regular market hours, because I think we came awfully close this morning with another one. Yeah, we did. Adara confirms it. Thank you, Adara. So keep your eye. There it is again. It's a 1050 high now, 1049 high. SRM, 620%, Joseph. And I'm just sitting here watching it like a schmuck. This thing is absolutely going. 1057 high. Look for the micro pullbacks. That's all I can tell you, because this thing is not pulling in to key areas of technical support. It is basically higher low, higher low, higher low. That's the trend I'm looking for right now. SRM. Taking out levels, looking to do some more damage here. SOGP, we did well on this one. We took out up all the way up into the mid to high 30s. I think I got 38s there, but there's a whole bunch of unfilled prints right now on SOGP, so definitely not really worth yelling about right now. The one that I will yell about is SRM, as it's going to take out $11. It's a 1065 high. Let's see where this one goes.
Are you watching anything for potential areas? Yeah, see, that's the thing, Gaurav. I'm still looking at this wedge, but one thing that I don't want to see, just thinking out loud, is if you're going to get involved, you're right. You got to get it at the lower end of the range, right? So the breakout's not working at this where you buy high and sell higher. You need to legitimately get in at the lower end of the range, post up, and then look to play kind of just this chop move that we're displaying, that's being displayed in Tesla, until it decides to pick a definitive direction. And I mentioned it may or may not be today, but if it does break out, then I want to see that volume step in, and I want to see a couple other signals that are going to tell me, say, hey, Joe, this deserves one more attempt, and then look to participate on that front. But until I see that volume profile drastically change, or I see the momentum in the time and sales really start to pick up, then for me, it's just choppy ups and downs, ups and downs. We can pull up the chain. I think we might have taken a quick gander at it this morning. But we'll take another look at it, because the size there isn't substantial, but it's clearly enough to point at that, hey, there's not enough demand north of this specific strike price. So 330, 36,000, and then when we go up to 340, we have 35,000 on this week's expiration cycle. So it's nothing like extremely large like we're seeing displayed on NVDA, but it's large enough to have that defense continuously push price back down. Now, if we are going to break through this resistance zone, this is going to be a key area and time on where I want to see that volume really start to pick up, and then that also being translated in the tape. And it's not. You can see as soon as we run into the resistance zones, we start to sell off back again one more time, and the volume isn't changing. What's up, Mike DeRider? Good seeing you there, brother. Big Mike is what we're going to start calling you because, a regular and always bigging everyone up in the chat.
Love that.
So, yeah, he's a positive individual.
Love that.
That's a guy that you want on your team, that's for sure, is Mike P.
Get it, Mike.
DeRider. Yeah, Bitcoin looking good here, guys. I'm thinking that we're going to continue in this strength. This might be the run where we go for those all-time highs and establish a new one. Sailor's continuously buying this stuff up, so that's a positive signal. What is the high there? 63.79, and we're just trading around 61.24. We add some more contracts. This is going to be a key pivot in order for us to climb through and punch that. I want to see, once again, same narrative, volume and momentum to break through key resistance zones there, Sharif.
All right, I'm quite pleased. Pardon me, with SRM. We got involved in it again here as Joey was dropping hot lines. Took about 50 pennies at the top, a little bit less, to be fair. Stretching the truth a little bit over here, but we got in at 10.5 and then zigged and zagged all the way up into 10.89. So not bad, not bad. It's continuing to, 10.82 at the high of the day. Here it is. It's about to take out the high of the day again. Again, it takes out the high, Joseph. It's a 10.84 big high. Big high. I look over at the chat.
Yeah, my bad.
And I see it there because you said, uh-oh. I was like, what's happening? Shout out to my man.
Yeah.
Big Spile. Big who? There can only be one big one. Yeah, he tried to fight somebody else for the moniker for Big there the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he'll fight you.
He'll fight you. Damn.
Yeah. Well, he's a big guy, too. I wouldn't be wanting to scrap him Big Kyle either, bro, quite frankly.
I've seen spot. No, but see, that's the guy you just got to run around until they get a little tired, and then
you got to get the hell out of there. That's why.
Yeah,
he's dropped like almost 40 pounds now, though, so I wouldn't be trying to outrun him either. I don't know. You never really know what Big Kyle's up to, bro.
Yeah, you never know.
Shout out to Big Spile.
Hey, if it came down to, there you go, Kyle. That's my game plan. Run circles until you get a little fatigued.
Wow.
And then look to
pulling no punches there.
Stick and move. Yeah, that's the game plan.
A stick and move. All right, guys, quick over here. The prior bar low. 935, current bar low 960, so yet another higher low on the 5-minute candle. It obviously hasn't closed yet. We've got 3 minutes left, but this could be yet another dip trade here on SRM to the high side, and I keep missing all the money fills, man. I definitely need to be a little bit more brave in punching in today. I am lacking a little bit of that. We're in a lot of hesitation today trying to punch into some of these. A little uncharacteristic for me at this moment. So we're going to keep an eye here on SRM, looking at getting in at the most opportune times. And I've been punching in at highs, quite frankly. And let's just call a spade a spade. I've been lucky not to get a flush against me. Maybe because this is so strong, it's more likely to go up than down at the moment. But what I'm keeping my eye on is a new candle or a candle to make a new low. So again, just to give you an idea, 935 prior bar low, it's still 960 current bar low. We haven't been able to break that. So the 960 level getting bought up currently on SRM. This is the #1 gapper right now in the entire market, above $1. I don't know anything about what's happening below the dollar. So keep an eye on that one. Shout out to Jacques. We're going to do the ad in 1 second. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Hey guys, could you explain what it means when the VIX options are expiring this week? How does that affect the VIX itself? You guys are the best. You got the best over here. His name is Joey Options. We're gonna do something real quick, and then we're gonna answer your question.
All right, guys. Let's see what we got going on. Level up your trading game. Level up your trading game with PropX. up to 1 to 200 leverage, and static drawdown. Scroll the site, pick your challenge at propx.com. Trade directly on our platform. Sign up, try it for free, and start your trading journey now. Enjoy rapid payouts and real human support. No bots, rated 4.6 stars on Trustpilot, trusted by traders worldwide. Right now, get 50% off with code TraderTV. Links in the description. Be the trader, get funded, join PropXP today. PropXP, your edge starts here. PropXP.com.
Like that.
There.
I like the effects there. Okay, so Mr. Joey Options.
Yes, sir.
There's an options questions here for you. Let's read it again. Could you explain what it means when the VIX options are expiring this week? How does that affect the VIX itself? You guys are the best. You're the best, my man. Thank you for the question. And you got the best in the business right now, Joey Options.
Yeah.
So, number one,
yeah.
Give us an idea about the VIX options and like just so people
VIX,
that don't.
You know what's funny? I was actually doing some TA on the VIX, just kind of multiple times. The VIX has only spiked 80% in a couple of sessions. I think it's happened about 4 or 5 times. And then preceding that, you've seen the market put in a new all-time highs. But as for the expiration cycle, this weekend, and thanks for reminding me, the individual in the chat, is triple witching. So one thing to note is the VIX, again, you're just playing the fear index, how that's going to have a drastic effect on it. I wouldn't necessarily put it in that sense, right? You want to actually look at equities in that front, in my opinion, right? This can be slightly subjective, but the VIX won't influence itself, right? It's the market that will. It's either the big names that are selling that increase the VIX, or we're starting to trend up, which is going to cool the VIX off, okay? So look at it from that standpoint. But again, you can see call walls and put walls on the VIX, and then that can give you some ideas as well too. Is the market going to stay stagnant? Is the VIX going to continue to cool, or is it going to heat up? And I think that's something really important to point out. But what I was getting at here is that with that VIX spiking about only 80% a handful of times, and then what's happened after that, it's just, we'll pull up the VIX right now, is that what I was building is, okay, I need to build a system in order to take advantage of these moves here in the VIX, because we know that the VIX does not stay elevated for extended periods of time. Right? It will spike, and then you'll see the cool off in the VIX. So let's pull it up here. And here we go. So you can see we're trading around 914 right now. But one thing to note is that, okay, yeah, we get that massive move up where you have that massive rally, but then look what happens after. So the VIX will spike, but it very rarely stays elevated for longer durations of time. I went back 5 years now to the likes of COVID, to the point where it was only elevated for a span of a couple of weeks, and then it cooled off, all right? So the VIX, essentially, I wouldn't look at the VIX and how it affects itself. I would look at the underlying assets around the VIX, obviously the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the heavier weighted ones, to see how that's going to affect it. Are they continuing to appreciate in price? Okay, well, what does that tell us? The VIX is most likely going to cool. When we're in bearish territory, what happens to the VIX? It tends to go on the incline, all right? So just look at it from that standpoint. That's how I've always gauged it, and that's how I'm going to continue to gauge it, because it seems to work. And if we just go back in history once again, just look. So again, you get that move, but it doesn't stay elevated for a long time. And the system that I was looking to build is that when we have these kind of these bearish sentiment, these bearish times where there's fear in the market, is that, okay, let the VIX spike drastically, but then after a couple of days to a week, look to just buy puts on the VIX, because eventually in the span of another month or 2 months, it will cool back and fall back into the norm there.
Well said, man, absolutely. And I think like the VIX is, you know, what typically you keep your eye on there if you want to know exactly how.
Absolutely. Like the VIX will tell you a lot, right? Like, is there going to be an increase in premiums, right? So if you just look at a heightened VIX, you can be like, okay, the VIX is heightened, and that can just lead you to the next scenario where, like, okay, the market is volatile. And then once it starts to cool off, you're going to see those ranges within the market, the average true range, start to cool off and condense, right? So
I bet there's a direct correlation between the two for sure.
There's an inverse there's an inverse correlation. Yeah, there's a direct inverse correlation. VIX goes up, market's most likely going down. VIX goes down, market's most likely going to continue.
No, I meant ATR.
Oh, the average.
ATR.
Yeah.
As soon as VIX goes up, ATR will likely go up as well.
Exactly. Right. The average true range will also start to increase. What's starting to increase here now is Tesla.
Boom.
It's breaking out. We're going to punch here, guys. We're going to get involved on this breakout. The volume slowly starting to pick up here. But yeah, we'll continuously talk about the VIX, but this is the strength that I want to see displayed. Look at this. We're just continuously, wow, this has just been seconds and seconds of orders just being hit on the ask. Now I want to see that translate to the lower interval on these volume by time, and not necessarily a flush like that, running into resistance zones, that clean flush. That was insane. Look at this, Sharif. Look at this is me scrolling down. Look how long look how large this order must have been.
That's ridiculous, bro. How many gateways does that go through,
that is crazy.
Wow.
So that was really interesting to see. Now, again, another clean flush. Let's see if this breakout's going to be sustained. Now let's take a look at the VIX. Probably cooling off as the market takes another leg to the top side. So yeah, that's essentially what I do in the VIX. Let's see if we can continue with this breakout here. Sharif, what do you got for us?
All right, trade the pool. Okay, guys. We got a behind the scenes look at Trade the Pool. The dashboard tracks your process in real time, live stats, profit, and more. You can break down every trade. You see your entry, you see your exit, you see how well you played it out on the chart. So check the certificates of the page for your full summary. You get your achievements and your payouts. It shows you everything there on the website. So in this clip, that's Michael T right there. He's already earned over $75,000 in total profit. Shout out to Michael T, man. That's hard to do. Trade the Pool gives you the tools and the capital to go further. So if you're ready to level up, visit tradethepool.com or scan that QR code on your screen there. Shout out to the great folks there at Trade the Pool. DTWD, thank you very much for the $1.99 super chat. Gonna cover your question on MSTR in one hot second. We're sending you to Adair LePage.
Keep an eye here on COTY, Sharif Gobriel et al. Coty, apparently, according to Women's Wear Daily, reportedly looking to be for sale. Seems like this company could potentially be for sale or trying to put itself up for sale, according to industry sources, again, as reported by Women's Wear Daily. That is COTY. I also have one for you here, Sharif. I'm seeing one that just started popping up here. Smart Power. Clearly quite choppy, about 1 million shares in volume, but trying to push potentially to the upside. CREG, maybe one to watch. But also, before we send you back to the guys in the midday, we want to take a moment to thank our friends at OGen here, or Origenics. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics, or OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Back to the Bash Brothers.
All right, so before we look at MSTR, DJ Freddie K, bro, I'm so sorry I didn't see your $10 super chat. I really appreciate that, man. Weekly goal just made on SRM. You sound like the Katina man, baby. He's smashing those daily goals every day. See you next week, says DJ Freddie K. Enjoy your to Max, man, Max is so annoying.
Why?
Because he's always traveling and he's always eating.
Oh, you have him on IG?
Yeah, of course I got him on IG,
Oh,
man.
he's across the pond right now.
Yeah, he's in Paris or somewhere in the south of France. Shout out to the Lambo trader himself. But yeah, we're going to cover that in one hot second. But boom, into SOGP at 7:40 we go. Very happy with this one. Let's cover, though, MSTR for your friend there. What's his name? Let's find out his name again over here. DTWD. Look, shout out to Michael Saylor, man. I think this guy's got the most guts in the business. You know, basically taking all the cash he gets and buying Bitcoin. It takes some kind of composition, mental and physical, to do that. I'd be throwing up every day if I was buying that much. I'm kidding, of course. No, of course.
No, but man, but you know what I mean, though? It's like
it's insane.
Continue. Like
No, but look. I love Bitcoin. But like this guy takes everything he's got and he's throwing it at
throw it
Bitcoin.
into one.
So, have at it, baby.
Eggs all in one basket. Yeah.
Let's just show the chart here real quick. Here's the daily, guys. It feels like we're in a bit of a range here. Obviously, we put in this triple bottom here at 225 to 250. Those were, you know, some of the lighter days there for MSTR. It looks like we're having trouble, at least locally, taking 400. We were above 400 decidedly, so it feels like 425 resistance, 400 resistance. It is respecting the 50 exponential moving average and has been basically since selling off on May 23rd. The support has been coming in. You can see all those wicks are being bought up by the 50. I just have to digress for a second because we're taking out all the prints here on SLGP. Boom! Next print, 54s. We got one out left on this one. Keep your eye on SLGP. It's holding the key areas of support and moving on up. But yeah, back to MSTR. Sorry to digress. Locally, I like that 50 exponential retracement holding up off there. I don't like the 400 resistance, obviously. Above 400, you are looking at 425 to 430 resistance, and that took place over here. So a bit of a convoluted chart here with that big move up going into November. And the post-election move there, that I think the high that we put in there was November 21st. We haven't been anywhere around 500 since that time. As I mentioned, you know, mid 400 seems to be the resistance. Let's flip to the weekly here, take a gander of what MSTR looks like at the weekly. Look at the bounce off the 50 exponential on the weekly like a glove. Yeah, above that 425, I like it, certainly. You're buying here, obviously, for a 425 move, but look, I don't see Bitcoin, you know, going down at 25,000, 50,000. I just don't see it. I think we respect the technicals on Bitcoin. It's going to be like a 7. If we do retrace, which we absolutely could, I think it's the same thing that we got prior, a 70,000 retracement, 75,000 retracement. It holds technical levels unless something fundamentally different happens. What I got to say I don't like about Bitcoin, what I didn't like last week was when we got the belligerencies in the Middle East, people were buying the US dollar and they were buying gold. They were not buying Bitcoin, at least not immediately. And I want to see it act as a flight to safety, in addition to the inflation hedge, in addition to having that digital asset. But that's not what it is. Again, it's still not doing it.
Yeah, not like immediately, Sharif. No. But one thing that we did I believe we did notice is that during all this tariff turmoil, we've seen what the likes of gold was doing. Right, gold was absolutely just ripping and constructing on. Bitcoin did start to trade a lot better, but it was lagging.
Super lagging.
It took a while. It is outperforming the Nasdaq. You got to take that into right year to date.
No problem with that.
It took a while for people to really start funneling into Bitcoin. But again, I was listening to Pompliano, I think Anthony Pomp. Yeah, you know Pomp. Oh no, he's some Bitcoin guy on.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a contributor on. Anyways, he's saying 5 to 10 years down the road, we can start to see things being priced in Bitcoin. So which would be very interesting. I think I think that'd be a fantastic thing. But
I don't really care for it as a currency, to be quite honest with you.
Like more
I don't. Yeah, exactly. Right. Just something to hold on to. And Jameson, youth has no money, brother. It's not just the youth buying Bitcoin anymore, my man. Institutions are in on this. We know it.
Look what we were talking about American Express.
There you go.
Right.
So American Express, Coinbase striking a deal last week. So you get BTC back now.
4%.
4%.
It's not even, think about it. We have a credit card, it's like 1% cash back. Now it's 4% Bitcoin back.
We need to build Coinbase for that. We need to build Amex and Coinbase for
and with the likes of
doing these advertisements
Shopify,
for free.
Allowing payments in stable coins as well too.
That I think
I think it's a matter of time until you can start actually paying for things like via Bitcoin. So
Big Spile. Okay. Go ahead. The Assassino. Flashback. He was using my chair. I know it. This is going to be it.
Flashback. It's funny,
I knew it. I knew it. Thank you.
In the massage chair, how crazy is that?
There he is. He's cold as ice, baby. He's cold as ice.
Oh, did he say
And look at where you are, Adara. That's what I want to say.
Oh my God.
Adara, I'm so disappointed. Look at that. You're watching the entire thing. You knew all about it. You're standing right behind as he uses the remote, the converter, according to Joseph.
It's kind of,
Poor Adara. Like, how'd I get pulled rolled into this, bro. Look at him.
Look at Neil. Neil even knows.
Neil knows all about it. Neil knows all about it. Oh my God. Oh,
flashback.
Oh,
That is funny.
oh,
Yeah,
oh
there you
my
go.
goodness.
Wow.
You guys see that?
Hot red handed.
I got caught. I got my boy over here sold me out. Adara, I thought we were close. Sold me out. Neil, he knew all about it. Didn't even flinch my way. Didn't even look.
man.
All right, we're gonna take this thing home with us every day now.
Well, I'm
all over,
surprised it
bro.
still works.
It's all over. Well, Obi, what does he weigh? Like $150?
Well, not even that, but the amount of times you dropped it.
Ram's like, I'll keep it safe. Adara.
Now, to be fair, Sharif, off camera, when Obi asked, should I use the massager or can I use the massager, I said, Sharif said to me, as long as Obi doesn't use the massager, I couldn't tell if he was joking or not. So that was said off camera. Now, that was not on camera. It was before the midday. But now we are talking about chairs. Back to you.
Boom, slams the door. The best part is the door slammed up. I love Obi. You know, I'm just playing.
Yeah, obviously. I would do the same thing for you, though. You know what I mean?
What would you do?
I would defend you. I'd say, hey, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, well, when Obi slobbers on your keyboard next time, be like, yo, just slobber all over that bad boy.
Yeah, Joe will be cool with it. Yeah.
I'm playing, man. All right, we're having a great time, guys. Is that the Katina man as an emoticon there in the chat? Oh, did you see that, Katina man? Look in the chat, brother. Look in the chat. Come on, Katina, you got to go in the chat. Katina man, you're all over the chat.
Hey.
You're all over. Uh-oh, I'm in there too. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That's no good. That's no good.
Yeah. What about
Neil's in the chat.
Neil's in the
Oh, baby. Adara's in the chat. Get it, Adara.
Okay.
Get it, Adara. Well, because you lied to me about Obi, Adara. So now you're going to have to deal with this whole thing.
So.
I'm playing. I'm just busting Adara's chops today. We're having a great time, guys. Thank you. Did you make that Chilean Nightmare? The Chilean Nightmare is always responsible for this kind of stuff. Absolutely love it. Shout out to Big Spile. I want to read what Big Spile wrote. He wrote something about Bitcoin there. BTC. Do you think the lack of flight to safety is because institutions still are only allowed to own X percentage where they may have permission to go whole hog on dollar and gold? Big Spile, well brought up. Excellent point. Sure, a lot of these hedge funds, they have articles of incorporation. They have guidelines by which they have to abide by. And if in their articles of incorporation or whatever the enabling, document is that they're using, if it says no more than, I don't know, I'm just throwing any numbers out there, 1.5% of a total available assets can be allocated to Bitcoin, obviously it puts a ceiling on that. That obviously may change as the price action of Bitcoin changes as well, and everybody gets absolute FOMO. Big smile. That's a fantastic comment. I think it's very valid, brother. So thank you for that, Big Smile. I appreciate that, my man. Great comment there.
Well, that's very interesting because now I want to know how much BlackRock, Grayscale, et cetera, are all allowed to hold.
Well, that's the thing. Right? I mean, I'm assuming the public companies would probably be able to find out, because that would probably be publicly available information. The private companies, maybe not so much.
So that would be like total of AUM, assets under management, you're only allowed to have 1.5%.
Or available cash for certain type of risk asset. So say, for example, you have, I don't know, I'm just throwing any numbers out there, bro. Like, say you have in your incorporating articles, 5% can be allocated to what is categorized as level 5 speculative assets. So you know what I mean? And then you can throw some into small caps that are completely unproven, some into Bitcoin.
So let's use this scenario. So what if BlackRock has an extreme amount of inflows that exceed that allowed amount? Do they have to now sell part of that position?
Yeah, that's typically what you do. Like when a price of an asset in your portfolio rises, so it becomes a larger portion. Right, and you redistribute it. I personally don't know. I think that's actually a very interesting point. We can do a lot of research online, guys. I mean, we're obviously doing the show live. That's why we're not doing research on this stuff online as we do the show. But it's probably not that hard to find that kind of information. So if you're looking at doing a bit of a deeper dive there, let us know if you do think, if you do the actual research, give us an idea of what these institutions are saying. Zion Lala, thinking about going back in on SRM. So I am. Yes, I am actually watching it quite closely. It's found a bit of a consolidation level here at a beautiful area. And I like this area here, Assassino, because you got the 10 exponential and the $9 level overlapping. And if you watch small cap gappers trade before, they usually have a lot of respect for that green line. That is the 10 EMA on the 5. And it's nice when it overlaps with a whole dollar psychological possible level of support. I'm talking about $9. But let's call it spade a spade. Catching it off that 1084 high and dropping down into $9, you may, be feeling some kind of way right now. So what I want to do is I want to see the trend reignite to the high side. Well, how do I look for that? I look for higher highs and higher lows. And right now we have basically uninterrupted lower highs, and technically we are making lower lows, not by much, but we are. 882 is the current low of this candle. We're above 9 currently, but we have a lower high. So SRM, definitely one of the bangers on the day, no question about it. The best looking stock on my scanner, on my side charts over here, but we're gonna keep tabs on this one. Also, RCAT guys, above that 920 area could be absolutely huge. Shout out to Nimrod, man. Nimrod's always dropping. Another 10 memberships there he just dropped.
Yeah, you guys always doing that. Thank you, Nimrod.
And I know he's out. There you go. So now those viewers who got gifted the memberships, use those emojis of the Katina man, the Neil.
But how do I get one of them? How do I put my emoji up there?
Well, the Chilean Nightmare has to kind of
I have to get gifted
coordinate
membership?
you with an emoji there.
I can't even spell my own name here.
There you go.
I don't. Okay, I gotta get in on that because you guys, because now Dinkelberg's taking advantage of that. Yeah, we'll look into that.
I love it, Fabian. Way to put him in his place, Fabian. Attaboy.
Man, what a guy.
Fabian's like, we'll look into that.
Yeah,
it is here.
What a guy. Yeah, that's crazy. No, fun stuff.
Shout out
here
to the
today.
Chilean Nightmare,
it's
baby.
It's a good Monday, man. The vibes are up today for sure. There's no questioning that. But we're.
Make sure to vote.
Yeah, make sure you guys vote as well too. Make sure you guys get those.
Yeah. So here we go. We're gonna do it at 1 o'clock, Fabian.
Oh,
that's what we're gonna do. We got our
poll
submissions. So here's the deal. I just want to explain to everybody what's going on. So the new poll is a little different. Okay. So what we have is an app, and it runs in the background. It sees all the different tickers that you guys that you guys are throwing in the chat. So once we've populated a lot of submissions, and it'll only basically take the names that you've put a $ in front of. So if you threw in $ AAPL, it registers it. And so once it has, look at this. You see the top there? It says submissions. That means we've received 39 of these different tickers. So once we have a lot of these ones, like let's just say 100, for example, I hit the start poll. Right? And then it'll put a face-off between the two highest ones. So let's just take Apple and NVIDIA, for example. So say Apple and NVIDIA were the two highest names as submitted by you guys. Then we'll put a face-off between Apple and NVIDIA, and we'll see who ends up winning that. And then who ends up winning it, we'll put them on the rundown. So it's a super easy way. Look at you guys absolutely killing it in the chat. I absolutely love it. Look at the submissions. They went up from 30-something. Now we almost over 100. Yeah, Fabian, that was a fantastic program there. The chat is getting littered with submissions, man. So thank you very much for that. Let me know when it's the appropriate time. Should we start poll now? Let's do one now. So we're doing it live.
Go BTS.
We're going to hit start poll. So now what we got here, Fabian, is that we got UNH and MP.
So this is the showdown.
So this is the showdown now.
Oh.
So they're super pumped that UNH made it up
I
there.
didn't see anybody vote UNH. How is UNH up
Focus
there?
up, Joe. Focus up.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, that's just the way it is, okay? So we go start voting.
Yeah.
And now we'll see how many UNH gets versus MP gets.
Put your 1s and 2s in the chat.
Yeah, so now you throw up 1s or 2s. So if you guys are voting for UNH, throw 1. If you guys are voting for MP, vote 2. Okay?
You get 1 vote per
You only get 1 vote per user. And then the poll time, we'll close it, after
Give it a minute.
a few minutes or something like that, so we can get some good numbers. So throw it in the chat there. And then once we start a new poll, we'll let you know. Maybe we can do like an alert or something for the new poll. You know what I mean? Just to let everybody know we're doing a new poll.
Do it like do the power hour thing, you know what I mean? But it's like new poll alert or something along.
There we go, man. We're getting a lot of votes here. So UNH has got, Adair, you'll be happy to know, UNH doubling up now MP. It's absolutely dominating right now. So So
I'm very happy to hear that because I accidentally voted for the wrong ticker. So I'm happy
oh,
even
that's
though I
okay.
accidentally voted not.
It made up for it. It made up for it. So there we go.
Now when you're happy with this.
Now when we're happy with this,
Click end voting.
end voting. So now we've have enough here. So obviously UNH has won, winner,
and then click
UNH,
return.
and then return. So now we know UNH is up. So now we can basically start populating more. Is that correct?
Yep, and then you could just go into the next poll right now.
Go into the next poll. So don't start poll though, right?
You can if you want to now.
Let them generate some submissions, right?
refresh the page.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fabian, for that. Appreciate everybody. Yeah, I'm sure it's kind of confusing in the beginning, but as things go along, I'm sure everybody will kind of get used to the whole thing. And yeah, it's a lot more passive of a way for you guys to do it rather than us selecting the tickers, throwing them up there, and maybe you guys like them, maybe you don't over there. What's going on over there, Katina, man? What are you looking at, brother? The people want to know. No, okay. The Katina man is straight chilling right now. He's not really looking at anything right now. So once he does, we'll keep you guys apprised. He's getting out of some AMD. He's taking some profits here at the top, guys. AMD basically knocking the door 10%. Upgraded today by Piper Sandler. There's a good look right now on AMD. Fantastic move off the bottom there as it moves back above, Joseph, that $200 billion market cap again, about 206 now.
Of your the AM.
AMD,
the
yeah, but back above
the
200 billion now.
duplicator,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, we can't even call it destroyer anymore. It's just on the path of duplication. So yeah, there we go. AMD looking really, really well. And it took a couple of years for it to get out of this this bear market that it was in. So
right.
Yeah, really good look in AMD. But that's the thing though, Sharif. You kind of expect it to rebound with a vengeance, right? Considering how beaten and battered, is this overdone? Is this justifiable? I don't know. I mean, this thing took such a massive hit, 226 all the way down to 76. That's almost a 60% haircut on AMD. Let's pull up the exact.
Get it, Susie.
Yeah, Lisa Sue, 65%, right? And then now you get a big time bounce. You didn't get what I did right there, eh, Sharif? When I went Lisa Sue.
Yeah. Oh, like Ronaldo, huh?
Yeah. Like,
do you see his kid? He's taller than him now.
Is he?
Yeah, isn't Ronaldo like 6'2" or something like that?
Yeah, I thought it was like 5'11". I thought it was like
No. He's over 6, dog. Yeah.
65% for the top side.
All right, we'll talk more Ronaldo when we get back from Adair.
We have to talk here. There is still some stuff coming out of the Middle East. Of course, a lot of, unfortunately, updates to these tensions. Apparently, sirens are sounding in Haifa, Israel, and some other northern areas after missile launches from Iran. We also have apparently some reports coming from ABC saying that Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel is not interested in peace talks with Iran. So it sounds like this is going to be escalating tensions. Just letting you guys know this is still continuing here. Nothing breaking or major happening now, but right now we're still seeing back and forth here between Iran and Israel on X. Back to you.
I'm going to show this real quick. Assassino, hold on. Don't show my screen yet, quite yet. We're going to go, yeah, there we go. Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. There he is. I just want to show how tall this kid is. Just don't want to get doxxed here on the, Okay, now we're good, Assassino. Dude, he's taller than his dad.
Yeah.
When did this kid, explode to the high side? I'm pretty sure Ronaldo's 6'1" or 6'2".
How old is Cristiano now?
The junior?
No, that's the dad. Cristiano.
The dad, he's born in 85, so he turned 40 in January or February, because I know he's in Aquarius.
Look at how is he still in that good of shape?
Well, that's beyond. I mean, Ronaldo's going to be like this for a long time. But I can't believe his kid's taller than him. And it's not the hair, too. Like, his actual head is taller.
You got an inch or two on him now.
At least, right?
Yeah.
Let's find out over here with you from your friend Gemini. Go away, bro. How tall is Ronaldo? Cristiano, because of the other one. Cristiano, oops. Man, I can't type. Cristiano Ronaldo. Whatever, I typed it wrong. It knows what I mean. Hurry up, bro. 6'2". 187, so his kid's clearly a lot taller than him.
Wow, yeah.
All right, guys, just got into MFI now as it dipped down into the 4.25 area. I'm defending into 4. Okay, it's showing me the spread is really prohibitive right now, so we're gonna have to be careful with this one. 435 on the bid, 411 on the ask. I like this area here at 405 because that's where it's found support a bunch of times on the day. So let's go ahead and punch some in here at 4.15. It will allow me to. Let's see if we can get something at around 18s or something. I don't think it will allow me at 15. So there we go. We're involved in MFI at the moment, and we're all done our trade on SOGP as that takes out the top through 55. So very happy with this trade. This one wasn't doing a lot of volume, full disclosure, on SOGP, but it's continuing to put in higher highs and higher lows, so not a bad look at all. And there is MFI right back into 430. So let's go ahead and take some profits here. I'm going to wait at 430. Let's layer the orders at 430 and then 435 as well. And maybe we'll take out some there at 440 if it does allow me. Anything below $4 and this trade is all over. So keeping an eye there. Bovin telling me CDLX. Let's go have a look at CDLX. Nice call out, Bovin. Nice call out, my man. Very good one. Let's flip to the 5 on this one. It's an ugly looking daily, but look at that intraday chart. An obvious buy program if I have ever seen one right now. So keep your eye on this one. CDLX is the name. But the problem with these buy program ones is you don't know when the hell they're going to turn off that buy program. And then there's a lot of people riding the coattails of the buy program who just start hitting the sell button. So when this one starts turning, it usually turns quite aggressively. I would look for a break of the 10 exponential, and I'd get the hell out of there if it did. And the reason I say that is because since 1050, since that buy program got turned on, it hasn't touched the 10 exponential once. Not once. So if it loses it, well then, you know, good chances are it may continue to go down. So thanks, Bovin, for that. CDLX is a ticker. Good luck. Good move up, Joseph.
Yo, Meeks, is that my friend Meeks, or is that just someone trolling in there, Meeks? Because yeah, that's my good buddy's name, and I don't think he would say something like that. So I'm starting to think it's not you. But yeah, I'm out of Tesla here because that was a fake breakout. Juan Padilla, you were right on that one. The volume wasn't continued, and we didn't see that sustained move here. But now I'm just in some AMD, looking for the continuation and the breakout of this consolidation. It is really, really small size, but you can see a nice consolidation bull flag pattern. And looking for that break, the volume started to pick back up again. So I think this is going to be a little bit more of a grind and a climb higher if we do want to break 2807. Let's take a look at the options chain there on AMD to see if there's anything specific at that strike price. Meeks, yeah, no, I'm not. I didn't want to say his first name, but Meeks. Hey, yo, it's really the name of your friend? Okay, so that's definitely not you then, because he wouldn't have. So yeah, 130, there is about 29,000 open contracts. And then here we go, we're trading, we had a high of the day of around 128. Nothing specific over there, only 8,807 contracts, but 130 definitely in the works for AMD this week. I think we'll knock on that door probably tomorrow, maybe not later on in the session. So yeah, exactly, Gaurav. I'm in a small size looking for the continuation. I do like this ascending wedge that we're starting to form, so that's a positive signal there, guys. A good look on AMD. I want this move to be continued. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking at. Let's pull up AMD for us here just to see where I'm in exactly. I gave smaller size, wider stop, right? Just at the lower end of this consolidation. But now I'm looking for a break in that volume to slowly start to pick up. Sticking with strong names. If you go on a run like this and when the market's pulling back and you see an underlying asset just hold steady like this, then that's when I want to get involved in there. And there you go. We're starting to get a little pop here in AMD. So yeah, a really good look there. 20-year in 10 minutes. Let's do this thing.
VinFast just dropped their Q1. No problem. So no problem. Yeah, we can keep that one on ice for a second over here, Joseph. Ice. Shout out to Adara. Take that swig of the energy drink there, Adara.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We're considering with time. So I took Milo to the dog park for the first time on Saturday. My boy got a little roughed up in the park. Yeah, I feel bad.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Who roughed him up?
Another little dog.
And he's still alive?
The other, no, they were playing, man. I had
the other dog would be dead if he touched my dog, bro. Kidding me, bro?
No, that's
you see where I was setting you up with that?
Yeah, you're setting him up, but no, I want him to get involved in there and understand that the dog park is, you got to be tough in the dog park, right? So you got to get roughed up here and there.
All right, guys, VinFast just dropped their Q1 2025 earnings. Revenue, guys, up 150% year over year, and they've made a big jump on gross margins. It's now at 35%. up from negative 59 last year. That's thanks to tighter cost control and growing scale. Good look there. The company's global push continues, rolling out new products, new dealerships, and expanding their green mobility ecosystem. Shout out to the great folks at VinFast. Again, I was at the mall on, what's it called, Friday?
Yeah.
And happened to walk into the store there. They got a crazy lease deal on right now. I think like $700, a few thousand down, Joseph, which is not too bad. And way below market rate. I think it was 1.9%.
Oh, that's a
so
good
way below market. Obviously, it's an in-house rate there. That you're not getting that from the banks. I promise you that. AMD. Everybody's yelling about AMD right now. Well, yeah, man. I mean, it got back into local area high, 127.80. It just popped into. It's still about 20 pennies off the high. That's not saying that bad. Obviously, 127.95 is the high. It's showing me 80s right now. So AMD, guys, in case you're wondering what the hell is going on with the advanced money destroyer, it is up big for a number of reasons. We got some good pronouncements last week from Lisa Su, but I also want to let you know that they are making, they got an upgrade today from Piper Sandler, who boosted them, maintained their overall rating, and boosted the price target up from that 125 to 140, which is a good look, man. It's been a hard time for AMD lately. You know, NVIDIA's been getting all the love, as well as Broadcom. AMD's been kind of left by the wayside there, and you can kind of have a look at this on the daily chart. That downtrend, I think we've broken that downtrend. I don't know how you feel about this, but let's throw out, you know, that trend line there. It does seem like that trend is done, and it was tested multiple times, and it lasted for a long time. I'll submit about a year and a half. We topping tailed in March of 2024. Okay, we topping tailed there, but I always chart from the closing print. So there you go. Rejection, barely breaks above it, and again goes in and rejects it. But then the higher lows and the higher highs are what the most operative. In addition to the trend line break, we're above the 200 moving average. We haven't quite gotten that that cross, the golden cross between the 50 and the 200 quite yet, but you don't need to wait for that. You need to be a mechanical trading system. It doesn't just live and die by the cross. Obviously, there's other things that we can look at as well. So trend line break, multiple upgrades, you get the right fundamental catalyst from the company talking about, you know, expanding into the server business as well as some upcoming products. My concern has always been with AMD, can they make enough? Can they make enough of these to sell at scale? Because again, Taiwan Semi, all their output, or the majority of their output's taken out by NVIDIA. And they really can't, they haven't been doing much in the way of anything lately to kind of fix that, so. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good rally here that we're seeing displayed in AMD, Sharif. I mean, we were knocking on the door of up 10%. I mean, that's positive. And that's the thing, right? This was supposed to be number 2 in the AI race here. It was supposed to be NVDA and AMD, but you can see in the likes of Broadcom was trading really well and some other chip names. But yeah, AMD looking for the continuation. I think it's going to be more of a grind. As long as we don't break through some key support levels, then I think we'll be okay. So yeah, I'm prepared to sit in this, let it kind of grind higher. I think 130 might even be in the works today, but yeah, it's going to take some time. And that's the thing, Meeks in the chat. I'm not taking Tesla anymore, right? Even though I think at some point it will. It's just I've taken my stabs, and it's now already 1 o'clock, right? And we still haven't broke out and found a direction. But I think at some point it will break out, and it's going to break out with fierce and momentum, with a vengeance, I guess we'll call it. But we'll take a look at it from a daily standpoint. So we're right on the top of that range, and we're continuously struggling to break through this 333 level. But if we do eventually, if we open up on the top end of this range tomorrow, then I'll be looking for a long here in Tesla. So yeah, that's the game plan. May not get it today, but even though it's just heading back towards the top end of the range, and it makes you, it's just luring you in. And makes you want to kind of continuously take those moves. But I mentioned that the volume profile isn't supporting it just yet. Not saying that it can't happen, but yeah, we got to be patient. And then sure enough, AMD is starting to come back. We cracked this lower end of the range. I'll just hop out there looking for that move higher. So then I'll just get a better entry price. So now is the time, says Luis Martinez. I think, yeah, I know, Luis, you're always behind me when we're trading TSL L. but I'm just not seeing anything from a volume standpoint that says, hey, hop in. And with the overall market looking like it wants to continue its move to the downside, giving up some of the move that we've seen earlier in the day, I really want to focus on that because Tesla wasn't participating on this morning's rally. So yeah, it needs volume, says Kevin Vasquez, and that's what we're waiting for. AMD is breaking down on me right now, but we'll wait to the lower end of the range.
So just did a quick Gemini look there. It looks like NVIDIA has taken over 70% of Taiwan Semi's advanced chip packaging capacity, specifically their chip on wafer substrate, which is, I think, the what's it called? The short form for that is COWOS. I see that all the time. With silicon interposer capacity, that's for 2025. All right, guys, let's talk about what's breaking out right now because SOGP, the one that we were involved in basically all morning, is on that good stuff right now. It just got into 280, zigging and zagging. It's got a wider spread and has had a wider spread since I started trading this. 5, 7 pennies at times. Right now, it's tightening up to about 2. SOGP is on that good stuff right now, up over 71%, taking out key levels. Let's see what it does. Number one, at that $3 area or that $0.75 area where it's at right now. That's number one. Number two, let's see what it does at the $3 area. Simultaneously, SRM is absolutely dropping. It's lost the 10. It's now lost the 20, and now I'm looking at a possible support level here between $7 and $6.50. $7, there was support over here at $7, these two double top candles, and then the $6.50 area is because that's where the volume weighted average price is hanging out. So SRM on the decline, keep your eye on that. Before we send you back to Adara, I want to let you know that SGS bet also started exploding to the high side right now. It's at, I think it just went through 1375. The high of the day is 1401 exactly. This is another spready one. Be careful with that one. Sorry to keep you waiting, Adara.
But there, just so you guys know, we have 1 minute left until the 20-year bond auction coming through. I'm seeing here the previous was 5.047% for the yield. I'm not seeing what it's currently at here before the auction because that's going to be the number we look more closely at. But again, 54 seconds till we get the 20-year. Now, again, a couple caveats here. These auctions do not always move the market, but they're worth being aware of. And we're not going to get the number right away. It usually populates a couple minutes after the auction. I will let you guys know when I have more details, especially if it ends up moving the market. But keep an eye here. Be careful if you're in positions. This 20-year bond auction on watch. Back to you.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how it works, Katina, man. Thank you for that, Adara.
You'll look into it for you.
Yeah. Oh, wow, this guy. You don't let stuff go, eh?
No,
you do not let stuff
go. Things go. No, you're right, I don't, man. But you know what? See, remember I told you I had the game on my stick the other day?
Yes, sir.
So
yeah.
Your boy performed yesterday, 2 goals and a primary. Yeah, but then we ended up losing 4-3. So I'm like, guys, we got to get it together. But yeah,
you're playing on Sundays now?
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, but my knee, man, I gotta take it easy because I can tell that my knee was acting up because I was going hard on Sunday, which I probably shouldn't have been. But yeah, no, I felt good. But then we ended up losing, and I didn't feel so good.
All right.
Yeah.
Your boy's getting a lot better with the service. So it was my forehand that needed a lot of work, and I noticed that my the forehand really improved when I created more space between the actual ball and my forehand. So I was hitting it way too close to my body, and it wasn't hitting the sweet spot of the racket.
Now you're out here.
Yeah, and I lead. So it's almost like boxing, like where my buddy taught me. Basically, you have to pivot off your back foot, off your front foot, and you launch off the back foot, and you have to twist your core. It literally is the same thing to hit the racket. So I actually have my left foot the lead, forward, my right foot back, and it's about a foot apart in distance. So that really helped. Bro, I'm telling you, it's hitting well. Nice. And then the service game, I'm actually spinning the ball on the actual service at the top, which to me, I actually just want to get the serve in the location first. Forget about spinning it. And then I just actually figured it out. So it's like repetition, baby.
Dominate. It's pure dominance over there.
It's good stuff. All right, guys. Playmaker pool. Let's do it, baby. What do we got? Are we going long or short?
Contract though. Are we going short today?
I don't know. I didn't look at it. Sasino, let me look at. We're going long. 74%.
And sorry, who said this? Someone in the chat said, someone said, yeah, Joe, you're getting smoked right now. Yeah, I know.
What happened?
Thanks for that. I'm well aware. No, they're only messing around with me. Okay, not 0 DTE, Sharif. We want the weekly expiration. So that's going to be 4. Can you give me the numbers and the at-the-money strike price?
4 days until expiry.
Yeah.
So I have to look this up. Okay, so.
You see 4 days?
Yeah, I don't know why
June
this
20th.
thing keeps popping up. So June 20th,
Yep,
right?
there.
There we
There we
go.
go. Bang.
4 days. And
There
then
we go.
what price do you
The
want?
at-the-money. So we're currently trading at 602.
602. So
yeah.
we go, you want the strike of the
Yeah.
bid, right? The
Yes.
bid or the ask?
The ask.
408.
$4.08.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. $4.08. Sorry. ATM equals $4.08. Okay, and then
Is that the only tennis player you know, Big Spile, Serena Williams? Are there no men tennis players out there that you can reference?
Who do you-
so
who do you-
408. What do you need?
$2 profit
On top
target.
of 408? On top of 408? So
Yeah.
608.
608, and
Yep.
then our stop loss is going to be at 208.
At 308. We were a
Oh,
dollar
yeah, sorry.
stop.
Yeah, exactly.
dollar-
There you go. Good
yeah,
math,
yeah.
Joe. I don't even know my own
Big
system.
Spile's killing me.
308. I mean, you don't know Bianca Andreescu there, Big
Of course, yeah, I know
Big
her.
Smile.
Obviously,
Bianca. Who was,
The,
who
the
was the other
Canadian.
Canadian girl that was?
there was the Filipino girl. I forget her name.
But the other one from Montreal, I think.
Oh,
was,
you're talking about Jeannie Bouchard?
Yeah, Jeannie
Yeah, she's not
Bouchard.
very good.
Yeah, but yeah, you don't have to be.
She's
good.
okay.
Yeah.
No, but the other Filipino girl, what's the girl's name, man? She was killing it
was
there
she
for a
doing
bit.
good?
I forget her name though.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
she was.
that- I'm not in
She was.
that.
She's actually from Toronto. So, whereas is Bianca from Montreal or is she from Toronto as well?
Andreescu's from Mississauga.
Mississauga. Okay,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bad
yeah,
there.
yeah.
All right. Let's see what else we got. Day trader cut, giving us the 20-year bond auction. So the actual high yield 4.92 forecast was 5.047. The bid to cover was the actual was 2.6. The forecast was 2.460. Thank you very much for that. 1 second. Halimaz, Sharif. I use the same IB card TWS program you use. I put stop limit order, and sometimes 50% of the times the price will get there. It will cancel my order and won't stop me out. I'm going to answer your question in a second. We have to go to Adara right now for news on the auction, but great question, Halimaz. I'll get that in a second.
I just want to let you guys know the 20-year auction exactly in line here with the pre-sale. So 4.942, as Sharif mentioned. Prior to the auction, it was at 0.924. So basically in line here, more or less. Pretty uneventful auction right now for the 20-year. We'll have to wait and see if the market reacts right now, though. Kind of continuing in this trickle to the downside, but still sharply up on the day. Back to you.
For that, Adair, I just want to cover this question quickly.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to bring in a fake. I'm always in the sim here, guys, on my personal platform. So anytime you see black charts, that's the sim because I don't want you guys to see my account number, obviously. But in the white charts, as you see there on the screen, it's always going to be live unless I tell you otherwise. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's go pull up Apple. I'm going to show you an example of how to do this. Now, what you need to know, how do you say your name? Halimez, is that there's two different inputs here for the stop loss. You have your triggering price and your limit price. If you are using stop limit orders, if you are using what just says STP, that by default goes a stop market, okay? And I wouldn't suggest you use stop market orders, but you can do as you want, okay? So let's go ahead and do this live right now. Let's open up the chart and let's just say we're gonna buy Apple, okay? Let's just buy Apple right here. Let's just punch. I think I have hotkeys already. There we go. Let's just get long Apple over here. So we're long 10 shares of Apple right now, okay? So let's throw in a stop now, okay? So say if it triggers below 197, I want to stop out. So I click sell. I put it below 197, right? And then I have to edit the order. So you go modify, you go order ticket, right? And then you have two entries here. So you go stop limit. Then you have two entries, your limit price and your stop price. The stop price should be higher than the limit price if you're long. So I say to the computer, okay, stop out at 196.98. But if there's illiquidity, so if there's no shares available to sell at 196 and 198, I want to tell the computer go all the way down to 196, say 85. Okay, and then you transmit that order, okay? So that's how you're gonna make sure your stop limit order gets triggered. Otherwise, just use a marketable order, which I personally don't like because it's kind of like the Wild West. I hope that helps, brother. It's very simple kind of thing to wrap your mind around once you do it a bunch of times. Joseph.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. We're bouncing off of those lows here in AMD, looking for the continuation. Maybe I mentioned that it's going to be more of a grind here, guys. I'm glad I didn't hop back into Tesla. That's enough attempts on that one there. Slightly broke the rules with the swing, the 3 swing system. But again, they were just paper cuts, so I was just allowing myself. So even though it does look like a lot of in and out entries, it's really only a risk of about 2-3 trades. All right, so just keep that in mind. And now I wants to go better not have a lick grab there. Yeah, that's the thing. It might have, if the market does get any form of bounce, you'll see it displayed here in AMD, and you'll get that continuation. But right now, we're holding up that 126.44 level relatively well. Be patient on this one. Again, more of a grind. It might take till 1:30 or 2 o'clock in order for it to grind up into 1:30, but I do believe that considering what I'm seeing on the options play, on the options chain, sorry, that is most definitely possibly in play for today, all right? Especially because we're right there. So 9.4% on the session, a big time move here in AMD. And I was looking at Oracle this morning as well too, just to see, like, just sticking with strong names. But this name has been on an absolute monster run the past couple of sessions. So a nice solid breath is totally justifiable here. But again, if you're a VWAP buyer, then you get these little pops. So it is respecting it relatively well. But Oracle not necessarily doing what I was looking for it to do today, considering the run that it's been on it. And underlyings need to breathe, right? We can't just go parabolic all the time, unfortunately. But yeah, Tesla, we can talk about this name all day. It's just it's moving sideways. It's saying no. We're putting in an inside day. Neil mentioned that, and we're not looking to break out just yet. Maybe tomorrow. But then again, we do have the FOMC on Wednesday, guys. So make sure you keep posted for that, because that's going to bring some volatility into the market. Whether it's going to be a pause, which I think that's what the street is leading to, or they get a cut, which I don't think is going to be the case. But regardless of what it is, even though we do know the outcome, you're going to get that volatility spike. So just be prepared for that. And someone in the chat also mentioned this morning, like, if you're just opening up contracts and you're not positioned very well, just be cautious, right? Because the options market will price in volatility earlier before the events. Like, you see it in the likes of earnings, because you would think, like, hey, let me start grabbing some of these contracts. Let me construct a straddle or a strangle. But guess what? The market's smart. They're going to price it in. And then if you don't get those moves that you're looking for, you're just going to lose premium to volatility decay. All right? So just keep that in mind. And this is the inverse correlation that we were referring to earlier in the day between the VIX and the overall market. So you can see the market going higher, VIX going down, market go down, VIX go up. All right? So that's the good look there on the VIX. And I think there's a really good system to be made in there. And I think I'm going to start jotting like a trade plan and a trade system down, specifically revolving around the VIX, because it does not stay elevated for long durations of time. So if you just buy further dated puts on the VIX, it's honestly almost like a walking cash machine.
Oh.
Yeah, no, honestly, that's what I was looking at this morning, over the weekend, Shriefen, and there's a lot of potential upside for that system, for sure.
I'm going to do the news. You good to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's roll.
All right, let's talk about the NHTSA, baby, easing those AV regulations. AV stands obviously for autonomous vehicles. And who's that going to benefit? You guessed it, our very good friend, he doesn't know us, Elon Musk and his company TSLA, so the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. I like 3-letter government agencies. I don't like these 5-letter ones. There's just too many words. Announced a move to ease restrictions on autonomous vehicles. The new rules will streamline exemptions for vehicles under Part 555 of their enabling statute. This includes letting automakers bypass certain safety rules. Believe it or not, you gotta have steering wheels, you gotta have accelerator pedals and brake pedals in your car in order to get licensed, and obviously autonomous vehicles need none of that. So this is going to allow the rural taxi or the cyber cab to actually be operating on the streets legally. This is not going to happen overnight. This will be a 2 to 3 year test period. So the implications for Tesla are that its cyber cab model, which doesn't have a steering wheel, which doesn't have accelerator and brake pedals, be operating on the street legally. But that's not how Tesla is starting out the robotaxi. We know that they are using Model Y, so this is for the future. So the enhanced exemption instructions will assist automakers in navigating the legal framework, which certainly they need to make sure everything is kosher, because they're publicly traded companies and they have a lot of eyes, as we know. So Tesla's gearing up to launch the robotaxi service in Austin, June 22nd. It's going to be the Model Y. operating without a safety driver. Good look there. Tesla is registered in Texas as an official AV operator. However, they're still considered to be in the testing phase. They don't have full allowances just quite yet. I don't know if he's blowing Elon a kiss, okay? I have no idea trading for today, for tomorrow. I don't know what the hell is going on in that relationship. It seems to be cooling down a little bit over here, but your buddy, Donald there, is continuing to investigate SpaceX despite what seems to be to a lot of people as them making up. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Anything you want to say about that, Joseph?
Yeah, absolutely. And I referred this, I believe last week or earlier last week, is that the Department of Transportation was favoring Waymo's LiDAR technology opposed to just the camera.
I don't blame them, Joseph.
So that's very interesting, but that's a big step forward for Tesla.
It is, and let's tell everybody why. Because foggy conditions, if the cameras get obstructed, Tesla is using camera systems only, and their neural network as well as some sensors, infrared sensors, but they're not using LiDAR.
So I think that's really tough for Tesla to, even though we say that Tesla has the ability to expand and grow more than Waymo, I think that would be tough for Tesla maybe north of the border when you get into those colder regions, because over here in Canada, they're going to probably be like, you're not allowed using that.
Unless you can prove it.
Right.
If you can show proof of concept. But what I have trouble understanding is when the snow starts coming down, but I think that LiDAR also gets affected.
It gets affected
by snow and mud and all that stuff.
There's a road bump that they need to figure out.
Yeah, how about you put some cleaners or something on there to make sure
you know what it's like driving it on the highway in the wintertime? That
brutal.
It just accumulates. Yeah, accumulates.
We use sand as well. Yeah, obviously it's not a good look, guys. For autonomous vehicles in this part of the world when it's winter. Summer, everything's gravy. Let's talk about Google cutting all ties with Scale AI after Meta took a 49% stake. And that's what we know last week. We learned that last week. Google had intended to actually spend about $200 million in 2025 with Scale AI. And Scale AI, basically, just so you have an understanding, they do labeling. Okay, so label training. And so when a large LLM is going through its pre-training, they label the images, they label kind of charts, everything that the LLM is digesting, so it has a better understanding of what it's reading and it's able to categorize it appropriately. That's what Scale AI does. And that's raising confidentiality concerns, which is why Google is looking at basically ending their business relationship. The decision is based on confidentiality concerns, as Scale employees often gain exposure to proprietary model data and roadmaps using that during that labeling process. Google doesn't like any of that. So the financial impact on Scale AI is not small. So Meta's investment values Scale at about $29 billion. That's up from previous valuation of 14. Google accounted for $150 million of $870 million in revenue. That's back in 24. That's not current. That's in 24. So they paid $150 million of that 870 came from your boy GOOGL. And then the existing customers that they already have on there, AKA Softy, AKA XAI, Elon, and even your boy Altman there at OpenAI, they're all going to scale back their use of Scale AI, no pun intended, because they're also concerned about the confidentiality issues and the proprietary models. So it looked great for Alexander Wang and company, but they're losing a lot of their high margin clients. These hyperscalers, they're the ones with the money. Let's not forget about that. So we'll have to see how this cookie crumbles, but I suspect that he picked up Alexander Wang to bring in fresh AI talent into Meta. I don't know if it was just strictly for the Scale acquisition. We'll have to see as things develop what the real reasons behind that were. So some competitors to Scale AI, they're not the only ones doing labeling. You got Labelbox, Handshake, Mercor, Turing. These are already companies that are reporting surging demand from top AI labs who are abandoning Scale AI. So many AI firms are moving their data labeling in-house as well. So they're picking outside talent to protect their sensitive intellectual property. We can't blame them. I don't want If I'm XAI, I want Altman to know nothing about what I'm doing. If I'm Altman, I don't want Elon to know anything about what I'm doing. So it absolutely makes sense that everybody would want to kind of keep everything in secret there. Anything, any comment on that, Joseph?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a hefty amount being paid out from Google there. And I mentioned the same thing with Google and Apple a while ago, how they amount to about 20% of their service revenue.
Well said.
So some interesting stuff there.
Absolutely. All right, let's go on here. Amazon committing about $13 billion to Australia, looking to expand their cloud footprint out there. I don't know if it's just for the entire Asian market or just for Australia. You have to assume it's likely for all of that area. So Amazon announced a 20 billion Australian dollar, about 13 billion US dollar investment from 2025, that is, to 2029 to expand, operate, and maintain AWS data center infrastructure across all of Australia. This is Amazon's by far largest tech investment in Australia, underscoring its commitment, obviously, to Gen AI and the AI game in general. As part of the expansion, Amazon is building 3 new solar farms out in Victoria and Queensland and securing about 170 megawatts in clean energy. Not a bad look for Amazon as they look to keep everything in-house as well. The AI infrastructure push here can't be understated. The investment focuses on scaling server capacity, AI workload support, especially for these generative models that are super heavy in compute. But it's not the only place they're spending money. We already got these announcements, Joseph. $20 billion in Pennsylvania, $10 billion in North Carolina, and they're even spending money in Taiwan to the tune of $5+ billion. So Amazon's got cash up the yin-yang, and they're spending it.
Yeah, and they struck some deals in the Gulf countries as well too.
They did,
with AMD.
Of course,
yeah,
the G42. We know about that.
Yeah. No, it's funny. A little bit off topic.
Go.
What I've started to notice, Sharif, in the grocery stores, I don't know if you've noticed it, but we're starting to see a lot more Australian beef come in. Did you notice?
No,
I
did not.
Oh
actually.
yeah, so it's a lot of
interesting.
The past couple of weeks have been Australian, like top strip loin and stuff.
So I love Australian lamb.
Yeah,
that's the top lamb in my opinion, bro.
So?
Yeah, absolutely.
I personally like the Canadian beef a bit better. Cooks it from a grill. I'm a self-proclaimed grill master.
Hey, well, you're allowed to have a grill in your place. I'm not, because we're run by dinosaurs.
Yeah, there you go.
And they don't like any grilling up in there.
Yeah, I found that interesting. A lot more Australian cuts.
It's interesting. I didn't notice that. Where you get a lot of your beef?
Farm Boy.
Farm Boy. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Farm Boy. Man.
I love that. That always reminds me of the first time you told me about it. Yeah. All right, let's talk about some Chinese retail sales, Joseph, because they were quite good here. So we know China's had a lot of issues lately with internal demand, whether it was real estate, whether it was electric vehicles, the electric vehicle companies there are caught in a price war. Basically, there's been lacking consumer demand as of late in China, which has spurred the government there to really focus on stimulus programs. For example, they had a trade-in program that was subsidized by the government. So if you had an older phone, you bring it into your carrier, they give you a new phone, and the government covers a lot of the difference so that you can buy a new. So the retail sales grew 6.4% year over year in May. That was the fastest pace they've had since late 23, and well above, guys, that 5% print we were looking for. That was the forecast by analysts. The drivers included, as I said, consumer good trade-in programs, online shopping ahead of that 618 festival. If you're wondering what 618 festival is, it was started by JD.com. It was the day they were incorporated, June 18th. So they made like a shopping day, kind of like Amazon Prime or Black Friday or whatever, or Amazon Prime Day, excuse me. And then it ended up catching steam with Alibaba, with PDD. So everybody seems to do it. It's called the 618 Festival. And it's the second largest retail sales day after that Singles Day that they have out there in China. They also had increased foreign tourism because they've been giving more liberal visa access out there. Now, their industrial production rose 5.8% year over year on the month, but that missed estimates. Fixed asset investment 3.7% year to date. That also missed that 3.9 expectation print. And then, I mean, what can we say about real estate? It's just bad. Okay, real estate continues to be a drag on the Chinese economy and really not seeing much in the way of relief at all. Look at tier 1 cities. Now, if you understand how China works, you know that their cities are tiered, and that has different implications we're not going to get into. Tier 1 cities, 1.7% decline in the average sale of property year over year. Tier 2, 3.5. Tier 3, 4.9. So they are not getting any sort of capital appreciation on their real estate investments and haven't been for the last few years, which is tough. Obviously, a lot of people's net worth are tied to real estate. I don't know if that's the same case in China, but certainly it is in North America. Consumer prices declined, so they are, for the 4th straight month, they are suffering from deflationary pressures, and producer prices fell as well, 3.3%, which is also kind of egging on the deflationary pressures there. Now, listen to this. Shipments to the United States, obviously, because of the 100 and whatever million% tariffs that Donald had put on China until recently, U.S. shipments collapsed 34% year over year in the month. That's the worst drop since February 2020. We all know what happened after February 2020. COVID, right? March 2020 is when it hit on this side of the world. So we'll have to see whether that 90-day truce has a way of boosting that back up. But the current print we have, and not the good, 34%. Now, the exports in general were not all down because they were able to make up some different they were able to make up some of their lack of U.S. shipments to Southeast Asia. They were also shipping to Europe and Africa, but you feel they need access to that biggest market in the world, aka the American market, in order to maintain to be healthy. Urban unemployment eased a little bit there, 5% year over year, the lowest it's been since November of 2023. Anything you have to say about that, Joseph?
No, I'm just in, I'm sorry, I'm working on this AMD trade here. This is working, and then also IBIT is now put in a new high a day. So I was focusing on these two things here. So there you go, Bitcoin putting in a new high a day, 61.36 and change right there. That's a good look from Bitcoin. Strong assets, continuation in strength. We're seeing that displayed here in the likes of AMD and Bitcoin there.
All right, Nippon's. Oh yeah, we'll do the new poll right now. All right. So let's see what we got here.
So what was the winner of the first poll? The UNH.
Well, yeah, exactly. Okay. So here we go. We have 391 submissions. We're going to start the poll. We're doing it live.
Let's start poll.
All right, let's see how this one ends up. So we got SRM, that monster small cap gapper that's up 500% against your boy CoreWeave. Okay? Oh. Let's see who's going to win the voting on that one. So 1 for SRM, 2 for CoreWeave. Litter that chat, baby. Let's go.
I was the first one in there.
All right, I'm putting CoreWeave on there. Yeah, you're putting CoreWeave as well. Let's go, CoreWeave. So there we go. So you can kind of see who's winning there on the bottom. The red bar is CoreWeave. The blue bar is SRM. Let's get those votes in, baby. We have over 400 submissions. Now we need you to litter that chat. There we go. Now we're littering it. Let's see how well this ends up doing. So make sure you are voting, guys. Getting Fabian, this is working really well, brother. Excellent work on your part, my man. This is very good. It's functioning quite well. Look at the chat come in fast and furious. Big Spile, I know you want nothing to do with SRM. Okay? You're never trading these small cap gappers, Big Spile. Stop fronting, Big Spile.
Stop fronting, buddy.
We love you anyway.
Stop. Oh, Pharrell.
Just a fun.
Is that you singing the same one? I just can't stop fronting.
Yeah, I didn't want to do the high pitched voice though. All right. Get it, Neil. All right, Nippon Steel soars on U.S. steel deal green light from your boy Donald Trump. All right, so U.S. President Donald Trump approved the Nippon Steel's $14.9 billion acquisition of U.S. Steel, ending that 18-month approval process. That was quite lengthy. Clearance came via executive order. It is contingent, though, on a national security agreement signed with the U.S. Treasury. The deal obviously faced past union opposition as well as security reviews, making the approval a major breakthrough for both companies. And here's the deal structure, guys. So Nippon Steel will acquire 100% of U.S. Steel shares, but they will also have to invest $11 billion by 2028 in the combined operations. The commitment includes government governance, production, and trade rules amid satisfying these U.S. regulatory concerns. And we all know that some investors were kind of concerned about this deal because they were worried about that $14 billion investment that Nippon Steel was going to have to do that was going to fundamentally affect their balance sheet. In addition to that, the U.S. government will, listen to this, have these golden shares, which is sparking questions about potential influence or control. Like this, look, I get it, why Donald did this, but I think it kind of sets the precedent in a way where I don't like. I don't really want the government being involved in these companies that should be making private market decisions rather than having the government, whoever's in power, it may not be anybody that you agree with these golden shares. I personally don't like that. I like to see government involved in too much business unless they're basically trying to prop up another sector. But the other side of the coin is just to kind of argue with myself here. Like when I learned macroeconomics, they taught us about Keynesian macroeconomics, and the whole point was to run deficits in one part of the economy so that it could prop up others. And the example they always gave was steel. They're like, the steel mill loses money so that all the auto companies can make money. And it's a very basic example.
Very basic, but with margins, I guess.
Exactly.
So reduce the steel companies' margins to increase what they got going in the automaker.
Exactly. So and people are employed, obviously. People have cars to drive. Obviously, a very old example, but that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this golden share thing. Doesn't matter how I feel. That's what it is at the moment. So
sorry, Stephen Marcus Johnson had a super chat in there. Oh, here we go. $2. Don't think we forgot about you, my friend. Don't ever think that. Here's some of my MP materials money for the boys. Thank you. $2 super chat. We'll get some coffees or something along the lines with that.
Very nice of you.
And then, yeah, exactly. Very, very nice of you. And we apologize for missing that, and thanks for pointing it out. But then you also seen what Big Spile said after that, right? Shout out to the new midday show, Joe, and I'm pretty sure it's Serena, not Selena Williams. But yeah, there you go.
He doesn't know anything about Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, anybody else.
Who's the GOAT there? Is it Nadal or?
Well, it's between Nadal and what's his name? Federer, bro.
Yeah.
Those were, and you got to put Djokovic up there with them too. I think those are the three GOATs. Federer. Neil goes Federer. I respect his opinion. Roger's a GOAT. But we all know who the best on clay was, and it's by far Nadal. No question. But then you got your boy Djokovic there. He seems to do it in every environment, bro. The hard court, soft court,
Never
court.
Really got into tennis.
I love tennis.
Yeah, you like
I love tennis. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. Good sport. All right, let's keep going on here. I got you, Big Spile. I got you. Yes. All right. Amazon, Roku, striking a deal. Where's Roku at right now? I was looking at it 9% this morning. It's dropped down now to where? Where is Roku at, man? I don't even see it on my watch list over here. Excuse me for a second, guys. 8%, not bad. So Amazon ads and Roku unveiled. You have something to cover?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying AMD is really starting to go here. Momentarily, we'll pull up the screen quick. You can see a new high has been put in here on AMD. It's time to add into this position. Going to manage it a little bit. And I was talking with Gaurav, but that's when you start small and you give yourself a little bit wider of a risk. But the ideal and the real risk to reward is just getting out of this trade here and then or getting back in, right? And then therefore your risk to reward is substantially better. But a big time volume spike, break through the high of the day, now up north of 10%. Bitcoin's rolling. Yes, I'm so happy I bought some more contracts this morning. So yeah, that's working out really well for us. But yeah, let's go advanced money duplication right there.
All right, guys, let's talk a little Amazon ads and Roku. They unveiled a new and exclusive integration that allows advertisers to access the largest authenticated CTV closed captioned or closed circuit television footprint in the US via Amazon's advertising program. It's called DSP, which stands for Demand Side Platform, that allows advertisers to buy video and audio ads at scale in blocks, essentially, okay? The partnership targets about 80 million logged in CTV households, which is about 80% of all US CTV customers, according to this company called Comscore. So the early campaigns, they've already run this in beta. It showed a 40% increase in unique viewer reach with the same budget being spent. The ad frequency dropped by 30%, improving efficiency and reducing media waste, and it resulted in advertisers getting about 3 times more value from the spend through the improved targeting and performance. All these are assertions that I haven't tested, obviously, but that's what's being reported. Some of the services are going to be included in this Roku's channel, their own proprietary channel, Prime Video, obviously, on the Amazon. But you're also going to have third parties like Disney, Paramount, Tubi, WBD, Fox, and others. So all these ones comprise that CTV umbrella where Amazon is looking to sell ads. So Amazon touts this as a giant leap in performance-based TV advertising, giving these DSP users full funnel capabilities from brand awareness to conversion. So not a bad look there for Amazon.
Not at all. That's a great look. I think that's a really good look for Amazon.
And we all know where the advertising dollars are. They're leaving that thing right there.
Yep.
Why do we have that on CNN, by the way? What's going on over there?
Who is
and it's coming into online.
Exactly.
We know that. Streaming, online.
Seen in the likes with YouTube, in the likes of
Everything,
Meta as
bro.
well. Too. So,
Absolutely.
Well, would you say Meta's revenue, 97% of it comes from ad revenue? That's crazy.
It's insane.
It's
Which is it's scary, but obviously the market doesn't
scary,
care.
right? Because what if like large corporations reduce ad spend? Then it's just like,
Or what if there's a disrupt? My concern, I don't think that's as likely as a possibility as a disruptor coming in. But then the disruptor has to have as many eyes.
Yeah.
And who has 3.2 billion active daily users?
What's going to break in? Who's going to beat
I don't know.
Instagram?
Not right away.
Way. Too many kids these days make money off it, and not necessarily the kids. I shouldn't have phrased it like that. But there's so many people that make money off of Instagram.
Oh God,
Which
yeah.
is
Yeah. In all the ways you can think of. Let's talk a little bit about Boeing. So we know that today is the first day of the Paris Air Show. But because of what happened with the Air India crash last week, sadly, where almost everybody died, saving except for one person, CEO Kelly Ortberg decided it was not appropriate for him to attend, so he did cancel plans, sorry Adara, to attend the Paris Auto Show. Just teasing you. It's the first, to be fair to Boeing, the 787-8, that's their Dreamliner. This is the first deadly accident involving this model. One too many, if you ask me. The cause remains unknown, but pending black box analysis, we'll find out. The CEO, as well, of GE Aerospace, the company that made the engines on the 787 Dreamliner, also delayed its investor day due to the crash. So, not a good look for this to happen, obviously, with the Paris Air Show, being so close. But, I care less about that and more about the people who sadly lost their life. But
absolutely. And that's why you're seeing the likes of Airbus really starting to gain market share off of these guys. The past couple of years, Boeing has just been in
feels that way. Absolutely. Oh, no pun intended there.
Exactly.
No, but it feels like, you've only got three big companies. You got Boeing, Airbus, and then Embraer now is really trying to kind of,
But I mean, it's just really dominated between Boeing was, again, at one point I remember Boeing was like 95% of commercial airspace. Now Airbus is slowly starting to
absolutely agree.
gain a significant amount of and I like flying on an Airbus.
I don't mind, bro. I don't mind either. Like as long as I get there in one piece, you know what I mean?
That's it. At the end of the day, that's all.
Sorry to say it that way. All right, let's keep going here. So the Paris Air Show will still see major activity with Boeing, Airbus, Embraer, as I just mentioned, expected to lock in hundreds of new orders. And Boeing, well, they're quite ambitious. They're forecasting about 43,600 new planes are needed globally in the next 20 years, with the emerging markets really being that growing or that driving force behind the growth. And listen to this, Joseph. Talk about margins. Listen to this. Lease rates and plane prices continue to climb amid supply shortages. So a 12-year-old 737, a busted-ass 737, that's 12 years deep, costing you $241,000 a month in a lease. That's up 42% in 2 years, dude. 2 years. That's how much the inflation was on that 737, 12-year-old 737. Wow. So that's really interesting to me right there, that the fact that they have so much demand, but they just can't pump out the airplanes. It must be a crappy problem to have. Escalating conflicts, obviously, between Iran and Israel had disrupted flight paths and increased focus on military budgets at the show. So we know Boeing, obviously, they've got a big military contract. I think it's for the B-21 or B-41 or something like that with the United States Air Force. The rising geopolitical risk could weigh on future commercial demand, but also bolster defense orders. And I'll just give you an example. Canada, we are going to actually meet that 2% NATO defense spending by the end of this year. We have been kicking the can down the road to 27. We're going to meet it by the end of this year. But that's not the end of the story, because NATO looks like they want to increase that 2% of GDP up to 5%. So just think about all the different, munitions and airplanes that have to be bought with that increase in spending. So we'll have to see how that all goes. Industry analysis expect about 700 to 800 aircraft orders to take place at the Paris Auto Show, which including firm and soft commitments, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there. All right, guys. New traders, listen up. First month free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips. All in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to QR code or check the link in the description. No, I didn't hear that drop trades. I'm not familiar with that story. I don't know how long ago that was when tails were falling off of Airbus. But I mean, if you want to compare the two, like Airbus has been performing better, and let alone do they have a lot less negative news revolving around them. Boeing has just been 3 years now, I think, of just pure negativity across the board. So, yeah.
Last one. AMD, one of your favorite stocks, Joseph.
Yeah.
Piper Sandler liking it as well, to the tune of $140 a share. That's a nice bump up from the 125 price target that they previously had in the company. They maintained their overweight rating. The upgrade here reflects increased optimism following the company's recent product announcement and their improving business outlook. Piper likes the Helios rack that AMD unveiled at a recent event. They call it a pivotal catalyst for AMD and the Instinct GPU growth that they're looking to pump out there. They also see the product as central to AMD's long-term data center strategy, as well as their AI ambitions. So obvious look there. Piper anticipates, a snapback in GPU demand in Q4 of this year once AMD moves past the China-related revenue challenges. We all know that, NVIDIA suffered through that as well. It suggests that the headwinds that were tied to trade or export concerning these advanced AI chips may be fully absorbed by the year end. That's a prediction. Obviously, it's not a statement, so we're going to have to see how that all works out. But AMD, I don't know the last time AMD's been up 10% on a day, but it is up over 10%, Joseph. It's up 10.06, taking out that 127.75 level. So fantastic look today for AMD, for the Advanced Money Destroyer.
Yeah, big time. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No. Advanced. Did you call it Advanced Money Destroyer?
Yeah, duplicator. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, get it right, brother. Because
it changes too now, baby.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. This tiger has changed its stripes, Sharif, that's for sure. But I know, obviously, a tiger can't change. Sure. But anyways, what I'm getting at there, guys, a big time engulfing candle here. 117 at the low, now trading at 127.78 there. So a really good look. And I mentioned some levels of open interest on the options chain. So I think we're going to get that magnet effect here in AMD for a move up into 130. And I know tomorrow, even though today's not in, but coming out of that open, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on AMD for a continuation within this strength. Because when a stock is this strong, I would like to see something followed up with that, all right? So really good look there in AMD. We're still holding on. I was talking to Gaurav about a risk to reward. So it's either because I'm so small here in risk, I could have averaged in. I don't usually DCA, but I think that would have been an opportunity off of these lows. And you can see that that support level was held relatively well. So you want to you want to add into this position so you can catch this move, opposed to me just holding on to this and then now essentially I'm break even. So if you guys understand what I'm getting at here, is that's why you'll see me hop in and out of trades on multiple occasions, because now if it comes against me aggressively, I can just accept that, I can realize that small loss, but then I can also add into that position. I can hop back into the position and then add on the move back up, all right? So you can see, so we'll use this as an example. If I got out here, that's fine, all right? You take that small loss, you let it do its liquidity grab, you let it sell off a little bit more, you get back in here, but by the time you get back to your previous out, you're going to have the ability to add into that position. So then now by the time that you get back to where your initial entry was, you're at a 2-to-1 or you're at a 3-to-1 because now you've increased your risk to reward by getting in here and then also adding into the strength, which allows you to kind of take advantage of that move opposed to me just holding it through this pullback. And then now at this point, I'm at like not even a 1-to-1, so you can't even partial off of that or anything along those lines. So just looking at everything from a risk to rewards perspective, and that's why you'll see throughout multiple of my trades in my breakout style is that I'll just hop out with the intentions of getting back in at an equal or hopefully a lesser price. All right, so just keep that in mind. Bitcoin is just, it's doing Bitcoin things, and this is what I want to see. I put in some solid days. I was bullish on this underlying throughout the day. Unfortunately, the earlier sessions did chop me up, and I didn't get to take full advantage of this move and the continuation because when Neil was getting back in at VWAP or looking for the reload, that was the precise entry, and I was waiting for some indecision prints that I didn't see, but it didn't display any. So really good look there by Neil, hopping in and adding to the position right at VWAP there. So yeah, I was in here adding aggressively. Unfortunately, I took multiple attempts, but yeah, you can see it took 20 minutes or so for it to break out a half an hour, but then it really hasn't looked back. So it's just been a buy the dip scenario on that one there. So yeah, guys, I mean, we got 20 minutes left in the show. If there's anything you guys want to go over from an option standpoint, and I like that someone pointed out that it is triple witching this week. So that's going to tell a lot, right? So we got contracts expiring. For me, I really want to see what's going to happen with this size at 145 on NVDA. 117,000 open contracts, that's quite a substantial amount. I mean, when we were rolling around the earnings season, we would see 150, 160 through a series of a couple strikes. But just to see 117 on the triple witching expiration week, this is going to tell a lot. So when all those contracts expire, I don't want to speed time up. I was telling that to my friends. My buddy is like, sorry to digress a little bit there, but my buddy's like, yeah, I can't wait till the cottage weekend. I said, my friend, relax a little bit. I need time to slow down, not speed up, all right? So that's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see where those 145 strikes are going to roll over, or the concentration at 145 is going to roll over to. But right now I'm going to be patient and just allow the market to do what it's going to do because we are now north of that specific area. All right, yeah, Mara. Yeah, let's take a look at Mara. We don't talk about this too often. And Bitcoin has been on somewhat of a good run here. So let's pull up Mara. I haven't traded this name in a long time. I know my guy BPI, I know he's probably still trading it. So yeah, a really good breakout there on Mara. Oops, I want to pull it on the 5-minute. See, that's the thing, right? This is not Bitcoin, and I can get into this conversation. This is a Bitcoin miner, right? So the costs of Bitcoin are expensive, and it's the same with MSTR. So it's like, okay, Joe, why do I own Bitcoin and not MicroStrategy? Well, because it's simply not Bitcoin, right? It's a secondary vehicle throughout them. So yeah, Mara, big time move, but you can see we put in a new high with Bitcoin, but Mara didn't do that just yet. And then if we zoom out from a daily perspective, oops, that's the 1 week. Even the week, it doesn't look good. But from a daily standpoint, this is not a good look. So, I mean, a lot of sideways consolidation. You're trading within about a $10, $15 range here, but it's just a lot of eastward movement, and that's not something that I particularly would want to be getting involved in. We can take a look at one more Bitcoin miner here, and that's going to be Riot. Same thing here with Riot, same narrative here, guys. A lot of ops and flows. The ebbs and flows would not be good or fun for me to sit in this. You want to buy the lows literally on this one and sell high. It's much easier said than done. But yeah, up here, I would not be looking to get involved with Mara or Riot or Mara. You want to wait for that pullback there. And then we'll take a look at one more before we send it back to Sharif. We'll take a look at Google. Okay, so yeah, let's talk a little bit about Google because we have been monitoring the 170 and the 175 strike prices on Google because that's where we noticed the highest level of concentration throughout the contracts. And I'm still seeing that displayed at 175, even though it's not substantial compared to what we got at 180. So at 175, we have 19,800 contracts, but then also at 180, we have 50,000. So I think 180 may be in the works here by the end of the week. With Google. I mean, there is a lot of bullish signs that we're seeing in the overall market, and I like this, especially with some of these tech names. Once all those contracts decay or they're rolled over on 145, I think that's going to be the time where we see NVDA put in a new all-time high.
All right, we're starting a new poll right now. Your two finalists are Micron, MU up 3 2/3, and then the other one up, well, was 10% like a second ago, AMD. Hold on.
Whoa.
He says hold up. Let's see if it works, Fabian. Okay, but hold on. Let's see if it actually works.
No, I put 2 in.
It didn't respond. Yeah, okay. So we're still fixing some glitches here in this bad boy.
Beta mode. We're Marquise Brownlee, this one here.
I think we were looking to run. I think we were. He needed to run the server or something like that on it. So I think that is a bit of the issue there, Joseph. So keep tabs on that. We'll get it fixed, guys. So no worries. Everything is still in beta mode, baby.
Yeah, beta mode, Mike.
Beta mode. Yeah. Well, that's how it is. All right, guys. Sorry, your votes are going unregistered there. I do apologize, guys. So the Chilean Nightmare is on it right now, and as soon as it's fixed, we'll let you guys know. All right. MFI is the only trade I'm involved in right now, and I've been holding this for quite a while. We're 2 pennies in the money right now, but there's really nothing to write home about because we've been sideways chop the entire day ever since making that 449 high. We've been kind of locked in a bit of a range, about 430 to the high side, and now it's getting even tighter, 420 to the downside. We're above the volume-weighted average price by some distance, which is at $4. But that's not really a glowing endorsement for a stock that's not doing anything right now. So MFI up about 26%, but really not breaking out. It's SBET that just got into that $14 area again. This is looking possibly double topish here. We got into 14 earlier, I want to say at the 1035, 1040 time slot, and we just got back into it now. 1425 high day, but you see where we are. We're below 14. We're dropping into 1380 right now. So it does feel like that there is selling and that we can't seem to shake the sellers that have been at 14 basically all day. So it's up 50%. This one obviously has a history of really squeezing and making big moves. But I got to tell you guys, look at the Thursday price action. So there will be likely a lot of bag holders between where we were in the 30s, I think, back on Thursday, and where we are right now in the mid-teens at 14. So keep your eye on this one. But it's had a great day to the tune of 50%. But how long does it continue to go before it's met, by obviously a lot of selling? Because people that are holding this thing want to get the hell out. Let me show you here on the 15-minute. Yeah, that's real. So we were obviously at 50 some odd dollars, 47 some odd dollars just a few days ago. And then right at 430, or it seems like here on the 15, I can go into a more micro time frame here, but right at 4 o'clock or right after the bell, I should say, it went from basically $33 all the way down to high 7s, maybe 8, ended up closing at around 8 p.m. at around $10. And that was basically all it did. And then on Friday, it was a super tight range. It did basically nothing. Today, it's getting some higher highs and higher lows with that 14.25 high. But yeah, a bit of a tough area here, this $14 area on SBET. So let's keep an eye out on that. SOGP, the one that we were involved in a lot earlier on, very wide range per candle, but very, very clear uptrend with the higher lows. You're not always getting higher highs on SOGP. In fact, you haven't touched the high of the day since I want to say about 12:55, so almost an hour now. But that's okay because you've been defending the volume-weighted average price in addition to holding that higher low sort of pattern. So that one is in play, and I think will likely remain in play in the afternoon. The one that is really giving up the ghost here was the biggest mover and the biggest winner on the day. It goes by the ticker SRM, and this one has not been able to catch a bid for its life since this huge basically double top here at 1084. So that candle at 1210 and then 1215, and then essentially you've got a flat bottom break. Lower high, lower high, lower high. All the while, that $9 area was getting defended until it wasn't. And then it dropped down all the way down to $8. And now we've been kind of using $8, I want to say generally, as an area of support. But we're still not out of the woods. And I don't think it's time to go long yet on SRM. And the reason is you're still putting in these lower highs. So that trend line right there, which is obviously very kind of loosey-goosey, the point is we're putting in lower highs, so the sellers are still in control whether or not this is above the volume-weighted average price, Joseph. So SRM continues to be in some trouble. RCAP was money twice off the volume weighted average price. 915 neckline there. Look for that 947 high day of break, but that will probably come in the more liquid time period. Right now, the volume continues to drop off. Down and to the right is the volume profile, so you're not really catching that aggressive volume to kind of push this one to the high side here, Joseph. So a lot of good small cap gappers that are not giving up the ghost, but they're not rocketing to the high side either. So be on the lookout for some of these to break out. Look for key levels as well as the high day to get that break there. So keep your eyes out on that, guys. Jim Cramer's in the chat.
Yeah, Jim Cramer, yeah.
And he said, NVIDIA bounced this. Can't say the other word.
I said Cramer would never say that. So.
No, he would never. Shout out to Cramer, man. Everybody hates on Cramer. It's making me like him now.
Yeah. How could you not like him, man? Obviously, you don't. It's more or less for the entertainment, right? Like,
well, yeah.
I love the lightning round when people. Did you ever try calling in on?
I never tried. No. But like those people, they have their way of calling in.
Yeah,
they don't give him a ticker until the end, so he doesn't cut him off, right? You know what I mean?
It's funny stuff. Maybe I'll try. Katina, man, you ever try calling in on Mad Money? Oh man, come on, the lightning round. Maybe.
Oh, Katina man got to open up the TSX though. He got to ring the bell at the TSX. That's pretty badass.
Katina man's doing big things out here, man. He's been he was on a show with our
Danny
guy,
Ives.
Danny Ives the other day.
Big Danny.
Which is pretty cool.
Katina man, what color shirt was he wearing there on the? Did you see him there? It was a Voice. It was Voice. It was I think it was X. What do they call that thing? X Places. Is it called Place? Spaces. Thank you, Ram.
Yeah. I wonder how many sports analogies he threw out there throughout the meeting. This guy loves a good sports analogy.
Shout out to All Class Adam. Welcome, my friend. He's just joining us right now. Shout out to All Class Adam Duluth, baby.
What time is it over there?
At 5 hours.
5 hours.
Yeah, so it's 6:51.
7 o'clock.
Yeah,
cool.
just a little bit.
Good stuff there. I heard they're having a solid summer over there in over there across the pond. Nice.
Have you been to England?
I've never crossed it.
They got great weather out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Well, I heard it's actually pretty good right now, but for the most part, it's.
Can I tell you?
Majority of it.
So I lived there for a couple of years for school.
Yeah.
And February, where like, would you say February is one of the worst months in Toronto?
Yeah,
it's got to be up there. January and February, right? Were the worst. They had like double-digit days in February. It was like 12 and 13.
No way.
Not every day, but they would have that regularly.
So there you go.
So it was nice. The worst month that I found for weather was November and December. Rain and wind like you wouldn't believe, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, and walking because, well, I was a student. I didn't have a car at the time, right? And I lived in a city called Leicester, so the public transportation was bupkis. There's no subway or anything like that,
so
right?
Heel toe and
everything. I was heel and toe everywhere.
Jeez.
And those were tough times. Let me tell you, bro.
You made it now.
Yeah.
It made you the man you are today.
There you go, baby.
Now you can tell. Now you can tell the stories of like, yeah. Do you know what I had to do to get to school?
And Leicester itself. I hope nobody in the chat is from Leicester, but God bless that city, dude.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks big time. But the only good thing about Leicester is that it's about 45 minutes from Birmingham.
Yeah.
So one's East Midlands, one's West Midlands, and everything is connected by train, which is sick, right?
Yeah.
So you could weasel your way to Birmingham, which is the second largest city after London.
Oh, is it?
Believe it or not, bigger than Liverpool and Manchester, which I didn't know.
All right.
Anyway, that's enough England talk for now. Let's send you to another person who loves English shows.
Yes, I do. I'm a noted connoisseur of Midsummer Murders, but right now we're going to talk about the Nasdaq here. Just going to topic around. We do have President Donald Trump apparently saying during the G7 summit that a trade deal with Canada is achievable. Apparently, like, we know that he met with Prime Minister Mark Carney. Apparently, they discussed easing tariffs on key industries like steel and autos. Apparently, Trump does prefer simple tariffs, but he showed some openness to Mark Carney's more complex proposals. Apparently, both sides exchanged ideas amid some broader tensions over U.S. trade policy. So again, apparently Donald Trump saying that a trade deal between Canada and the U.S. is, quote, achievable. We'll have to wait and see if that comes to fruition. But keep an eye on auto and steel stocks because those have really, of course, been in contention when it comes to Canada and the U.S. on trade. Back to you.
So apparently Neil's family lives there, and I didn't know that, and I spoke quite quickly, so now I feel a little bit bad.
Hey man, it is what it is. I think Neil would rather you tell him the truth.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think so as well. So he said no.
He said sugarcoat it. Yeah, sugarcoat it.
Yeah, he's not disagreeing, by the way. Leicester has its odd parts, says H.R. Lopez. I don't know about that place, man. I don't know about that place.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me, no.
So
Like
would you
doing
spend
it
a couple years there?
2 years, yeah.
years?
So doing it all over again, I would either live in Birmingham.
Yeah.
London was too expensive though, because as a student it was super expensive. Or
Even back then.
pardon me?
Even back then.
Oh, dude, it was 20 quid, 20-pound drinks at the club.
No way.
Yes, it was Vegas style.
Oh, wow.
Like that. This is like late 2010s. So I was there 07 to 09. Yeah.
So that's almost like $40 a pop there.
Easily. And back, like the first year I was there, the pound was 2. Then we had the GFC kick in, so the pound dropped, so it was a little bit better.
Okay.
But, oh my goodness.
What's up, ADL, brother? Hope everything's going well.
ADL.
Hey, he's an engaged man these days, isn't he?
That's it is.
Yeah, there it is. Well,
Pop the question.
That's it, brother.
He did what he needs to do, bro. Talking about the UK, we love you, ADL, man. Shut up.
Yeah, we love you.
Shut up, man. All right, guys. Let's get back into some business here. SBET topping tail, and so the double top that we were talking about possibly happening, looking a little bit more likely. It did dip down pretty aggressively from 14.25. The prior bar low is about 13 mid-40s. We are kind of caught right now in between the high and the low of the prior candle, printed around 1360s. It did hold the 20, and there was in this area over here, 1340, 1350, where we obviously rejected. We couldn't print anything above there on a closing basis, which did end up holding. But this is not my style of trade. Let's pick it up on an uptrend when it's making higher highs and higher lows. SBET, fantastic look on the day, up almost 50%. But at the moment, we're still continuing with that downtrend. So keep tabs on that. Let me know what you guys are looking at, man. The conversation rate sucked then, says Scott Angel. I don't know what that means.
The conversion rate.
Conversion. Oh, sorry. Conversion rate. Yes, absolutely. Adam DeLuce, it stayed pretty much 20 to 25 pounds. He's talking about the drinks at the club. So there you go. 20 to 25 quid a pop there. You're not even getting doubles. You get doubles, you could drop them 40.
That's crazy.
And I'm not I don't drink anymore, but I'm smashing double.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the way it is. Eddie R. Sharif, PS for clearing stickers and small wounds either. Clearing? I don't know what that means, Eddie.
No idea.
Oh, there it is. Eddie, as well, you couldn't buy alcohol 95% in the pharmacy either. Yeah, well, obviously 95% proof. Sure. They have a lot of different legal stuff in continental Europe that we don't have here.
Oh, really? Like what? Like what you can just buy?
Other stuff that we don't want to get dinged on because of the words, but
really?
you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's legal?
Yeah. Middle East as well.
But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like 95% liquor and stuff like that?
Well, dude, number one, there's no price cap. There's no minimum price on the liquor there. You know, our liquor is artificially kept high for to reduce consumption.
Yeah.
So by increasing taxes, there you could go into like a mom and pop convenience store, pick up 2 bottles of wine for like 5 quid.
Dang.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Like, there's gambling shops on every corner, which is not a big deal anymore because you can do it on your app here. But this is like 20 years ago.
The old feisty goat.
Dude, you could bet on anything there. Like, what color socks if somebody's coming out with. Yeah.
There you go.
Everything's fair game.
I like the names of the pubs, even though I've never been there, but like when I've seen them, they all kind of look oldish and shanty. I'm not trying to bash them or anything like that, but like names like the Feisty Goat and stuff.
Yeah, they have plenty of that.
Yeah, you know
Love
what
it.
I mean? Adara.
More, I guess, updates here coming out of the Middle East. Apparently, according to the local news, Iran is warning of, quote, a more painful response to to Israel if the U.S. fails to rein in Israel. So, again, continuing escalating tensions, market pushing a little bit lower. Let's see if it gets to this previous area of support around that 533 halves. Currently trading around 533.9, just shy of 534. But again, seems like there is continuing escalation in the Middle East. Also, in case you mentioned it, in case you missed it, I mentioned a couple minutes earlier, President Trump saying that a trade deal with Canada is, quote, achievable, and he's been talking to Carney, of course, during the G7 summit. Back to you.
You gotta love Donald there, like trying to get a deal to get done while the missiles are in the air. It's just like, they should strike a deal. It's like, bro, they're bombing each other. Like, chill out, Donald.
Done. Yeah. Let them send a couple more missiles before that gets. I don't know. Just end it all.
Looking at that QUBT, though, sticking on highs, eh?
Yeah, it's big time moving. So, Jameson, thank you for pointing that one out, and you can see the volume really start to pick up. This is an all-day trender right here, so a really good look here in QUBT. We can take, I'm going to pull it up on a different chart so we can get a better grasp of what's going on, but Tesla is starting to break down as well too. So there you go, a big breakdown, consolidation. I figured it was going to break one way or the other, and you can see the volume start to pick up now at that 2 o'clock hour. So all the boys came back from lunch, hit the sell button, and said, "Yeah, see you later." But let's pull up QUBT here momentarily. It is 2 o'clock.
It is?
Katina, yeah, Katina, man, we're documenting this for sure. Don't forget. There you go.
Katina, man, doesn't like hearing that.
Yeah,
I got to interrupt.
Okay, go ahead.
And Mullen is breaking out, Neil. Something's going on with Mullen over here. Big breakout here on MULN. Have no idea what's going on. I'm looking at the blotter. I'm not seeing anything here on the blotter. So MULN was basically trading at $1.75. It jumped up $1. It's up 277. It's up 27%. It's zigging and zagging. So this could be a V-shaped retracement, an upside down V retracement, excuse me, as we call it here, a Christmas tree retracement. So no idea what's going on with Mullen. I don't have anything on my blotter, but Adara, go ahead.
I'm just going to cut in quickly here. No news. Actually, not that much social media interest either, which I find shocking. The last mention was 2 minutes ago on X, so really hard to tell what's happening here. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara, for that. Yep. So nothing from Adara, nothing from myself, but it is time now to send you to the big boys, Neil and Sean. They're going to take over with the afternoon rundown. I'll see you guys very shortly on the green screen, Joseph. But MULN, I'm sure Neil will be looking at this because he looks at it.
Did you hit the gym this morning?
I did not, because I smashed 3 times yesterday, bro. Morning sesh, tennis, evening leg sesh.
Dang.
So I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I gotta
chill out.
do some R&R a little
your
bit.
boy.
Mullen's taking out highs, Joseph.
Is it at
42.5.
Is it at $1 billion?
No, it's not at $1 billion.
All right, there you go.
It's taking out highs. Neil and Sean, take it over, boys.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
I mean, Mullen is. I mean, it was $30 last week.
Like you could.
Now it's $1.
It's $270 now because it's up 40%.
Yeah.
But